What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Zak and Miri Make a Podcast. Sorry about that brief delay. Miri was kind enough to remind me, hey, are you going to start the stream? Because the thing says, it's time. So I was like, okay, I guess we should get going. Anyways, so obviously I am Zak Nava of Nava Reptiles, Miri, MSB Reptiles, and we are joined by Matt Edmonds. What is going on, Matt?
Hey, guys. How you doing? I'm really happy to be on this podcast, finally.
Dude, stoked to have you, man. Absolutely. We appreciate you giving us some of your time.
Of course. You guys have all the time in the world whenever you guys want it. So this is my second favorite podcast next to like Joe Rogan. So
that's a hell of a drop in production quality from Rogan to us.
Look, it's not about the quality; it's about the quality of content. So
we're gonna get there.
Especially with you on here, Matt.
Yeah, a little bit. So we're gonna start it off right. So I brought tequila. You guys apparently aren't drinking this early. So cheers.
Oh, I'm drinking, just not shots. Jesus, Matt.
Spicy water. Spicy water.
Yeah. I feel bad for anybody that hasn't met Matt in person at the shows because first of all, like that's just fun, but also because they're totally not going to be prepared for all of the antics.
Oh no!
Not at all.
As soon as we got to Schaumburg, we were taking tequila shots.
Yeah. I think that's what we did when we first got off the plane. I might have been intoxicated 99.9% of the time of that Schaumburg show.
That was a really freaking good show, by the way.
It was fantastic.
How did you feel about that compared to a Tenley? Because I haven't been to an actual Tenley yet. So that was all the experience I had.
So I love Schaumburg. It was great. I hope they do a show there again. But nothing will ever compare to Tenley. Tenley is just it's a different breed. More people get together in the downstairs bar till like 2 o'clock in the morning than they did at the other bar.
Sure.
And that's where you meet that's where I meet ball python people because obviously I'm not the biggest ball python breeder in the world by any means. I do appreciate them and I'm getting into them because of you two. But you get to meet some really dope people and you get to learn a lot about stuff that you're not really going to be into. And when you're got a little bit of liquid courage, you're willing to get out there and say some stuff and do some stuff that you normally wouldn't. So, well, other people, I don't really need alcohol for all that. So, but yeah, it's Tinley Park it's a different energy when you walk in the room on like opening day, not necessarily setup day, but when everybody starts flooding that door and you look out, there's a line of like literally 500 to 700 people, and it's just a mad rush for the door. Vendors I think they make pretty good money. I know my retic people made a lot of money. They did well. I don't know if they made a lot of money, but I know they did well. Talking with them. Schaumburg was a great show, though. I think the venue was amazing. The hotel was really accommodating.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was just happy I was down the hallway from you guys because I would have been kind of screwed on one of those nights.
Oh, that was great. That was phenomenal. I couldn't believe you remembered our room, but not yours.
Okay, so for those who don't know, I give out my key to a bunch of people because I've had people where they don't have a room or like I might get lost in a hallway and on the wrong floor and end up in other people's rooms and forget where mine's at. But I ended up with a key from Miri because I made a comment, I can get a key. And she's like, no, you can't. So when she went up, I was like, oh, honey, I'll be right up. And they made me a key.
Already in the room.
Yeah. So I walked upstairs. Anyway, so I was swiping keys at every door. And that's how I felt. I didn't know whether I was going right or left because if you go upstairs, I was to the left and they were to the right.
It all looks the same.
So it all looks the same at 5:30 in the morning when you're drinking wine with an Indian couple that their kids are getting married and you're invited to a wedding the next day. That was my Schaumburg experience. Y'all tell me yours. I mean, and then it ended very interesting. But
we were with you. That was the experience.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And also thanks to Matt, I think now Miri is going to have to, every time she checks into a hotel, like clarify with the front desk, no one else is allowed to receive keys to this room other than me. Like if someone else comes by.
No, he's allowed. I don't want him to get hurt.
No.
He'll just end up
I'm not
wandering
saying
the
for
city
Matt.
and ending up with fucking traffic cones.
I'm saying for all these other
the
people
traffic
watching the
cone.
stream right now, people are like, I'm just gonna stand in line behind Miri when she's checking into the
No,
hotel.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I
let's
promise you,
yeah.
for everybody, that'll end
Yeah.
really bad. Whether
I'm
it's
being
me in the
clear.
room or Zach in the room.
Yeah,
And,
that would end up very well for anyone.
But it was like played so perfectly. She goes, "Okay, hon," and waved at me and went to the elevator. I was like, "All right, this is perfect." But yeah, don't do that. Don't be creepy. Me and Miri have known each other for like 3 years, so this isn't like a new venture for us. Zach,
No,
Zach is the new one to the group, so
yeah, apparently.
But y'all put on a crazy like podcast. I really appreciate you guys reaching out to the retic people. You guys hit Jake Klotz, I think it was like last week or the week before.
Yeah,
phenomenal. That's probably my top 2 favorite that you guys did. I really like to see guys hit. I think his name's Bob Vu. Is that his name? The ball python guy?
We want to get Bob on at some point for sure.
That guy
He's
is
such a good dude.
hilarious.
He's a ball of freaking energy, man. He's super entertaining. We were talking. We're gonna have Steve on, I think, at some point. Steve from Steve Morphs.
Okay.
So they work together, which is great. We're super excited, man.
If you guys don't follow Bob Vu, who I'm talking about, go like to Facebook, and you're literally just gonna laugh half the time. And the other time, if you're into ball pythons, you're gonna his shit just is crazy. Like I DM'd him a couple times.
Amazing animals.
Yeah, like I understand the prices on retics, but like when I look at ball pythons, it's like, oh, that's cool. And then he tells me the price tag. I was like, nah, I'm good. That's like my truck payment for like 5-6 months. So like I'm good. I'm good on that. But you guys ball python people, I mean, both your projects, I like how you guys are doing the same project that looks slightly different, but
no, they're very different.
When you see them in person, they're very different. But like, I looked them up on Morph Market. I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know, because I was trying to get educated last night about this. And I've talked to both of you guys about your individual projects, and Miri wins. Like, just because I've seen what it does with like a couple of other stuff, like the black pastel and whatnot, and I really like the black pastel stuff.
Right. That just came out.
Yeah. It takes a while to find stuff that just comes out, but the just come out stuff is usually the best. Like, especially like in the retic world, somebody hit a ghost anthrax, and it's like it varies between my 2 wallpapers. So
Rennet Ghost?
Pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Rennet Ghost anthrax.
I love the Rennet Ghost stuff. Yeah. So that's that's a 50% Slayer Tiger Het Rennet Ghost. Only one in the world.
I might have something for you next year. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
A lot of people in the reptile world like to keep a lot of secrets, and I'm one of them. But like me, I think you two are the only ones that know what I'm getting from Aubrey Pruitt.
Aubrey's actually in the chat right now. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know you. I invited him. Aubrey Pruitt. If you guys don't know, Aubrey Pruitt is probably my top 5 favorite breeders in the world, and probably top 10 favorite people I know in the world. So Aubrey, cheers. I love you, bro. I can't wait to see you in Tinley. So
Aubrey's a great freaking guy for sure. He's just man, this hobby is so full of obviously just so many great people, and I think that's my favorite thing about going to the shows is like it's different, interacting with people online or whatever, but like putting a face to the name, and then just like meeting those people and just that exchange of energy. Aubrey's just another one. He's just super positive, super upbeat, just a good energetic guy. So appreciate him being here.
I'll say that about a lot of the retic people, not all, but I think the same thing with ball python breeders and stuff like that, and monitor breeders. Like, what is his name? Oh my God, Mike. He does monitor lizards. He had those really cool monitor enclosures at the show that were made out of wine barrels. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah, those were freaking awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Bro, and I've talked to him probably 100 times, and I've never knew what he looked like.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the coolest dude, bro. He's so nice. But that's one of the reasons why, if you haven't gone to a big show and you've only gone to local shows, get up, take the plane ticket, and go. Like, I never went to a Tinley before. I started going to like court cases and stuff like that for reptiles down in Florida. I never went to a big show. Like, the closest show I went to was probably like 12 to 25 vendors. But these big shows, they bring people like, I mean, Zach, you're in North Carolina. I'm literally in Washington. I think I don't know if you're in Texas yet or
Right on the border, anyway.
Yeah,
New
you're like in
Mexico.
Texas, basically. So, and for those who don't know, you guys do know, I am moving at the end of next month or September, and I'm going to Texas.
Super
We're
excited
actually,
for you, man.
yeah, well, I'm super excited about it. It's a big move, but I think it's better for the reptiles because there's less laws there. Because currently, the reason I don't have my snakes behind me is because I have to put them in a facility because my town doesn't allow them. So I have to drive a little bit for that. So I'm not going to wear this the whole fucking thing. I'm just not going to do it. Just not going to do it.
Of course not.
Yeah. And you mentioned the cone earlier. So this cone is going to be at.
Oh yeah, we need that story.
I don't handle certain things really well, and I may have been drunk, and somebody may have given me edibles, and that's not my cup of tea all the time. And they didn't tell me how much milligrams was. I don't understand the whole thing.
And to clarify, these were legal in the area.
100% legal. Everything was yeah. And so we're driving. I don't even know who I was with. I think it was with this, my friend Amanda and like this some guy I don't know. And that's the other thing. When you're in a reptile show, you end up in cars with people you might not know, and it's okay. It's not sketchy.
It's all safe. It's all safe. It's totally safe.
All the time.
And somehow Amanda goes, "You won't take that cone." And by taking the cone, it was like on the side of the road. It was like in a bush. And I was like, yes, I will. And so I went to dinner with this cone. I ended up waking up with it in my bed. It was very interesting. So I went to the local people and I got a little one. So the big one's in Chicago and will be delivered to me. The local, I don't want to steal stuff because then they're going to see this and be like, this is the asshole that took it off of Broadway or whatever.
That's where Stephanie ended up at.
So true. Wait, why is that out of state? But yeah, so it became like an ongoing joke for the entire weekend. It was a ton of fun. And so I'm just going to run with it as long as it's funny. Once it's not funny anymore, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, lean into it. Hey, don't think I haven't thought about just punching myself in the eye like once every couple weeks and just like making it part of my brand, you know? Like, I also love the way that you put that somebody's like, hey, you won't steal that cone. I'm like, this story sounds very familiar to me right now.
Bad. I still like I fought mixed martial arts. I've never punched myself in the face like that. like you had some hatred for yourself in that hit. You're like this is bull crap. Like something happened to you that you took out on yourself in that moment.
Something somewhere along the lines of my life went wrong to make me that willing to inflict self-harm, I guess. I don't know, man.
Like it had to be like,
or maybe it was just like a case of Coors Light. I think that's what it was.
See, I'm just too. I get really happy when I drink. I don't ever get upset. But like, I'll tell you,
I was happy about it. It was fine. I mean, I wasn't happy once I saw my eyes start to raise mostly because I'm like, I'm gonna have to explain this to people for the next month or however long it takes. It's already been over a week and I'm still dealing with it, dude. You should have heard that the first day back behind the bar. For those that don't know, I'm back bartending, which is wonderful. My life is great. I'm super happy. But yeah, like, dude, I literally, to the point that all the other bartenders and barbacks and everybody are laughing because they hear me introducing the story the same way every single time. People at the bar are laughing because they've heard me say it 100 times in the last hour. It's been good. So, hey, it's all good, man. Just whatever your brand is.
Speaking of branding, I know that you went through an amazing person. If you're comfortable with saying that person's name, they reached out to me. And, they reached out to me and Blake Stewart. Oh my God, amazing guy. That's who's going to be doing my branding as well.
Blake's the man, man. I tell people all the time that you're going to get nothing but quality. You're going to get a basically a catered experience. It's not like dealing with somebody off of Fiverr where they do 1,000 of those things a day and they're just looking to pump them out, for $50 a piece or $30 a piece or whatever it is. It's all personalized. I mean, every little thing you're going to have multiple consultations. You have input that you can give. Things can be adjusted in real time. And then it's also just that relationship that you have after the fact with Blake, with regards to him also not only being able to design your logo and all of your branding, because it's not just a logo. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
It's everything.
It's your colors. I have a brand guide that's like 35 pages long that I sent over to a t-shirt company at one point for them to like make shirts for me. And they're like, I've never received a brand guide that's this thorough. And that was just from like a local company, and ended up not working with them because they were like put off by the amount of specific information that was detailed in that. They're like, well, we can't guarantee that these colors are going to be dead on, and we can't guarantee this. I was like, okay, well, I just won't deal with you. I'll just find somebody else. But no, Blake's great. Yeah, exactly. That's the stuff.
I have a consultation next week with him, so I'm very excited about that. So
I'm happy.
And it come off your once he dropped your name, I was like, dang. And then he also he did a Reach Out Reptiles with Garrett Hartle. Like those are two of my favorite. Like, I've never bought anything from you. You never bought anything from me.
Sure.
I know you before I knew you were Zach. I knew Nova Reptiles, and you're relatively new to the business and the industry, but you're already pumping out amazing quality stuff, and your content's always on point.
I appreciate that, man.
So I appreciate it. It's better than some of these other people doing bite videos. So, which as a big Python guy and somebody into monitors and stuff, bite videos, I want to fight everybody who puts one out. Like, straight up, I'll meet you in a cage and we'll go till somebody naps or snaps. Other than that, like, it makes me so mad because there's enough laws being passed. Like they're fighting in South Carolina right now about the venomous law.
Yeah, I know, which is frustrating. South Carolina is one of those places. Obviously, they're close to me, so I was considering that for a move just because it would have been easy. You know, I could have kept my same job and everything else, and it would have been literally 30 minutes down the road for me to live. But now I'm like, okay, well, if you guys are also, going to start getting stupid about this stuff, well, then I'm just not going to bother. So I'm actually right behind you and Miri, planning on being in Texas within about a year. So yeah.
I'm going to be honest. The three of us should not live in the same town.
That would be horrible.
We need some distance.
Listen,
we'd be massive.
There's no city in Texas that, and this Texas we're talking about, there's still no city in Texas that would be able to handle that level of extremism.
Shenanigans. It's shenanigans. But like the thing is, it's completely harmless and it's always fun. And I think that the thing I really like about you guys is it's like you bring other people into the craziness. Like, people who are like more reserved or like more laid back, and you bring out that inner like love for the hobby, and you're like, yo, this is actually really dope. Check this out. Things I'm not going to look at. Like, up until I started talking to Miri, I never thought about dropping $3,000 on a ball python. Ever. Yeah. I mean, ever.
She's a problem that way.
She's what is the project? It's called Monarch. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm so bad with names.
I love that she can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not, because I usually do. I'm like, what is that project you work with that I've never heard of? Like, it's some really good stuff.
Matt's hard to read as sarcasm, like so terrible. Everybody will be like, wait, what's going on? Wait, are you serious? Oh yeah, everything.
So I think Monarch with Pied, and then maybe some like, I don't know what would be black pastel. I think it always helps out with the T positive and T negatives. Mm-hmm. It always makes that colors pop. And then as adults, they look even better. I think that 3 genetic thing, I don't know if you're working with that, but you should, just so I can see it. I don't really care about if you sell it or not. So I think that's a dope project. I still think the Stranger Gene would be pretty dope in there, but there's a lot of controversy on that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that a different day.
Yeah.
But if you want the Stranger Gene, come talk to me.
He says as he drinks a beer.
I'm not going to say I have access to it.
Oh, yeah,
I'm going to say I have access to it. But yeah, it'd be pretty dope to
That's
see
how you know that Matt's not being sarcastic. He drinks a beer. That's his tell.
He does it just for emphasis, though. He's like, I'm going to say something dramatic, and then I'm just going to pause for effect.
Well, that's a stand-up comedy, because like I was doing stand-up here in Washington for a while, and I got a huge critique. So I like to make people laugh. Like, I
finish what you were going to say. You got a critique, because I'm actually genuinely interested in what you're about to say.
So I did stand up at this place called The Porch here in Ellensburg, Washington. It's kind of a shithole, but it's good food, but it is what it is. And this guy, Alex Elkin, who was a headliner, he's gone overseas. He's been on like a lot of comedy tours with some big name people. I had a joke about, I still have a joke. I was on Tinder, and I'm swiping right as we do when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and we're lonely. And I swiped on this really beautiful person. And the beautiful person, I was like, hey, let's meet up in this Yakima, which is like 45 minutes away. We go to a Mexican restaurant. And it turns out that the person's transgender. This was never a conversation. I talked to him for 2 weeks. And I was like, is there something you want to tell me before we continue this date? Because on Tinder, I'm not looking to make a great connection, but I'm looking to make a great connection. And and so I'm like looking at this Adam's apple, and I shook her hand. She's super sweet. I'm not going to say her name because we're still friends to this day. And she's like, well, I'm in transition. And I was like, oh, are you in between jobs? Are you going back to school? Are you moving? Like, that was my, like, that's what I said to her. And she goes, no, I'm pre-op. And I was like, oh, are you getting like soldier surgery? Something happened to your knee? Are you getting a boob job? What is it? And she's like, well, I'm transgender. I was like, okay, cool. And so my first initial thought was, bartender, I need 4 shots of tequila. And she goes, oh, I'm not drinking. I was like, they're not for you. And so, like, there was a great punchline in there, but that's the story that led up to the joke. But when I said I need 4 shots of tequila, I laughed and I turned away from the crowd. Well, when you turn away from the crowd, you pull the energy from the
disconnect.
Joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't think about that. And then I talked about, like, my ex-girlfriend. I was like, hey, guys, I'm happy to say I've lost 210 pounds. Yep, I broke up with that bitch. And the place erupted laughing. Because everybody, it's a small town where I live, so everybody knows who she is.
Okay,
so
so that makes it even better, yeah.
And I took a shot, and everybody just erupts. And I was like, okay. So now when I do stand-up, every time I hit a good punchline, I'll take a sip of something. That's my own. That makes sense because
it visually indicates to people that you're pausing for a reason, but you're also pausing while making eye contact. Like, yeah, y'all thought that shit was funny as hell. Yeah,
Well,
that's the art of comedy that people don't think about or talk about. Even. Like, a lot of people aren't even aware of it. It's your mannerisms. It's all about just that unspoken language. That delivery is everything. You can say the same words 25 different ways, and only one of them might be funny.
Yeah, and it's so crazy to me because, like, even the way you move your hands, the way your, like, body, your everything. And I mean, you guys probably caught it all weekend with me. It never stops. I never turn it off. It's all the time, nonstop.
Oh, no.
Wake up, sun up to sundown. If it's not funny, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
If it's not a good time, I'm out.
Well, if it's not funny, you want to find a way to make it funny. Is the reality.
And the cringe factor is so bad sometimes. Like,
but that's how you figure it out, though, man. You got to work through some stuff, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I love it. I really wanted to do Chicago at one point in time, but now that I'm moving to the DFW area, I've already reached out to a couple comedy clubs. I'm like, hey, I'm amateur. I'd love to come in.
Texas
so
comedy.
On days that I'm not working,
oh hell yeah!
God. It's so hard to get in. Oh my god.
Of course.
It's like pulling teeth on a lion that's awake. It's just murder. They have like 45, 50 comics, and you get a 5-minute set. And I'm like, 5 minutes? Like, when you're up there, 5 minutes is gone. So
yeah, I mean, that's that for if you're not really targeted about what you're talking about, you might only get 2 jokes in 5 minutes. Like, how do you even how do you even get an intro and then a joke off and then an outro? Like, because that's the best jokes for me in comedy are the ones where you have the time to set up a joke at the start that people don't realize is a joke. You can start off with like almost a half a story that then turns into something else, and then you wrap right back around to that, and that's how you finish.
Oh my god, yeah.
So to try to do that in 5 minutes, but the upside is that it creates that challenge for you, and it makes you forces you to grow.
And trust me,
creativity as a comic. So I think that's exciting, man.
Every day's writing, every day's working on it. But I think that, like, and me and you both talked about this, and Miri's like, neither one of you fuckers sleep ever. And you're right, we don't. And it's because there's so much on my mind all the time, whether it's my animals, whether it's the next project I want to work on. Like, I apologize to people all the time. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, they're getting a text message or a phone call about something that doesn't matter.
Or 5 or 5 in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, like 5 in the morning, and then I'm up at 6 o'clock. Hey, good morning. Sorry about that, bro. And that's my life. I get like 3 hours.
You don't even tell me you're sorry anymore. You're like, why didn't you wake up for my phone call, bitch?
Yeah.
I've never said. You're right. I've never said that line. I've never said, why did you wake up for my phone call? But I mean, you're right. Why didn't you wake up?
Miri's like, I actually have the text saved. I'll send you a screenshot right now. That's fine.
All of a sudden, it's along the bottom of the screen. It's like in a caption. I'll send it after, just appropriate the time of day. And that's the other thing is, like, because my mind goes a million miles an hour, I'm actually looking for a name for my reptile company. Yeah. And for those of you guys that don't know, I'm actually opening a restaurant in the next 6 months to a year. And that's hectic because we have a lot of great concepts, but I don't even have a name for it. Like, and pitching, okay, this is the idea, this is what I'm going to do to banks. Yeah. And they're like, okay, well, what's it called? Yeah. And I'm like, well, but that's where the salesperson comes in, and you have to be able to like hustle your way through it. I was approved the loan, so everything's really good. So crossing my fingers on that. That's why I'm moving to Texas very shortly. So
that's great, man. I'm super stoked for you. And what I was going to say, because I remember you made a post not that long ago talking about your branding and not having a name yet. Blake is who helped me with that. So literally, when I reached out to Blake, it was after Garrett had just got done with his rebrand, and I reached out to Blake at Garrett's recommendation, and I told him, I was like, look, I want you to help me with everything start to finish. Like, I want you to help me set myself up for success, down to even my business name. I sent him a list of like 10 different kind of thoughts that I had in my head. And Nava Reptiles was not even one of those. It was not on the list. It was not something I had ever even considered because
props to Blake.
Yeah.
Fact.
Props to Blake.
Blake's talking with him at Schaumburg, and I met him at Tinley and Arlington. I think I met him at Arlington. One of the two. They all blend together after a while. But I didn't know what he did. Yep. And like he's one of those guys, when you have a conversation with him, it sucks you in so deep. And you're like, and I'm ADHD like anything. Like I'm like, oh, squirrel. Like you'll see me look around during this entire video because like I'm watching my lace monitor and I'm watching my anacondas that I just got, and like I'm all over the fucking place. It's horrible. But with him, it's like you're there. You are in that moment and nothing else matters. It's kind of like when you walk in a room and you see that one beautiful girl or guy in your case, I don't know your life. And the room just disappears. That's like talking to Blake. That's the best way to describe having a conversation with him. And he's
we all went to lunch together with Blake.
Oh, that's awesome.
And his wife. And that was I think, Miri, we talked about it, like all of us agreed. That was the highlight of the whole show for me and I think for a lot of us, was just literally that lunch was so fun. Just all of the hilarity of the conversations and the fact that what was meant to be like a 45 minute lunch turned into like 2 hours.
It was like 3 hours.
It was like our waiter loved us, was laughing his ass off at all of us, and the fact that we tried to like close out like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, I'll get one more drink, and then somebody was like, yeah, I'll take one too, and I'll take one. So
that was so mean. I thought everybody was stopping, so I only had one, and then he started getting more, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna stay here. It's okay, we'll be fine. It's not gonna be fine, but it'll be fine.
We didn't miss out on anything. Fun. It was great.
I felt bad for my friend Amanda because she had no idea what she was getting into, and she's really reserved in the restaurant. Yeah, she's so much fun. I love her. I've known her for 7 years, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, we became friends because you know those. Oh my God, she's amazing, and she's super cute. I love her. I think anyway. We became friends because I'm one of those people. Like if you go after like a newbie in the reptile industry because of like a mistake or like a picture, like I'm sorry, and Miri, you can attest this. If me and him took pictures just in our boxers, we're going to get kicked off of Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Hell, if MySpace was around, we're getting dislikes, okay? But you do it, and you have like 23,000 likes in 5.5 minutes. So she did something similar with that with her boa on a whatever Wednesday on some site, and she just got ripped into by a bunch of people. So I was maybe drinking tequila, and so I got on her side about it, and we became friends. I was really mean to those people, like really mean to those. And I was like a moderator of the page at the time, so they were getting like deleted. It was bad. It was really bad.
It's not bad though, because the reality is we talk about this all the time. And Miri and I have conversations often about just the industry and just how like why are people negative? There's no point. There's no point. There's nothing for you to gain from being negative about stuff that doesn't matter. If you want to be negative about a bite video, I'm happy that you want to be negative about a bite video if you do it in the right way, by the way, because even those things, there's a right and a wrong way to approach.
I DM people.
Jesus, man. If there's a girl in the hobby or a guy in the fucking, I don't give a fuck. If some dude in the hobby wants to go take fucking pictures in a Speedo with a damn reticulated python wrapped around his body, I don't care. Does not affect me at all, because guess what? There's some people out there that are gonna love that. And I see the way you're looking at me, Matt, and I appreciate it. Not where I'm going with that comment.
But here comes Matt with the pictures. No,
make it happen.
No, in the next 2 days, Matt's gonna make that happen.
I think it's a great idea.
A retic on me. I'm having no clothes in a field with a retic. I'm gonna say, draw me like one of your French girls.
Listen, you know what? I think it's a great idea.
Are you allowed on TikTok again yet?
Great idea.
No, I'm still banned.
Yeah, Matt, I can't believe that you got banned from TikTok for being too American.
we're gonna end up posting Matt's TikTok so you guys can go see his.
Oh my god, I completely forgot to link that. Of all things, how did I forget to share the link?
Yeah, well, you'll fix it.
I will edit it immediately after this. They're great though. No, but and again, going back to it, I love how much effort you put into your content creation. Like at least even though it's just on that platform, I tell people all the time, that to me is one of the most important platforms right now, especially for the reptile hobby. You can overnight, you can have such an impact. People have no idea. And that's what matters. Where is the attention? Where is the attention? The attention is there. So that's where you go.
I want to go to the YouTube platform like you guys do. Like, I would love to come on and talk to people with you guys, but like I like this setup. I've tried to do uncomfortable conversations with friends. I've done that, which is actually pretty dope. And it's hitting topics that are not PC. Yeah. And then I love this whole platform of podcasting. And you guys are really entertaining, especially the fact that you guys are nuts together. Like, it's always fun. It's always fun. Like, and it's serious, but it's not serious. Like Jake, I think Jake made a great comment about the reticulated pythons. The people that are really in the business, your Aubrey Pruitts, your Jake Klotz, your Gavin Bowe, Shane, Garrett, it's very selective, very selective. And they're not breeding $100 snakes anymore. That's not a thing anymore. Not in the retic industry. I mean,
no, there's no point.
Between me and Miri, we have 3 animals that will produce $20,000 to $40,000 animals in 3 years. I'm not going to say what they are, but if you're in the retic industry, there's only 4 animals that do that. There's morphs that aren't out in the industry that are being selectively bred. You're not just breeding a normal to an albino anymore, unless it's going to be like your super dwarf things that I'm on a list for Garrett Hartle that's 4 years out.
Yep.
Like if you want that super dwarf, you go to Garrett. You know that. Like, you want that top quality super dwarf. There's nowhere else to go. And same thing with the Sulawesi. Jay Klotz, only person to go to.
Yep.
And you're on a list. You are on a list that's like 30, 40 people long. And it's
I'm on a couple of Garrett's lists that are really fucking long that I might not hear from him for a year or two, but I will hear from him eventually.
You'll see him.
I've seen a couple of his lists. I was lucky enough to go and visit his facility, man, and I have seen the list, and it's impressive, and it's very encouraging in terms of that market. The market is very strong. And that's the other side that people don't really talk about. The market's super strong, especially for the dwarf and super dwarf stuff. I love them, don't get me wrong. But I'm really excited for the fact that Garrett is producing more and more, obviously, the dwarf and super dwarf stuff, and it's making it easier for people, including guys that are currently working with mainlands, to transition into making those same morphs that they've been excited about already into smaller snakes. And just again, I think that's super important.
I can't disagree in any way, shape, or form. I think that what you're saying is 1,000% on point. I would love to see a 10-foot female run a ghost anthrax. Are we going to see that anytime new? Nah. But is it going to be savage when he pulls it off? Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah. I would argue that I will if he puts like some Matawati in that with that patterning. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I'm super upset. I lost the male to my female that I have. So I had the world's only pair. There was only 3 eggs that survived from the clutch of 50% Solaire, Tiger, 100% Het Rennet Ghost. And so they were the world's only pair of dwarf Tiger Het Rennet Ghosts. And the male died of the male died of cancer. I had to put him down, and I have the female still. So yeah, I could have potentially produced this year because they were already pairing when he got sick. I could have produced this year the world's first ever super tiger, 50% dwarf super tiger rennet ghosts. So yeah, that would have been nice, but it's all good, man. It's all coming out. I'm super hyped on the rennet ghost stuff.
The rennet ghost is my favorite albinoism.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it has to do with, number one, first of all, it crushes the Clark strain albino. I know the Clark strain albino, the purple sunfires are out of this world, but as a single gene that's the albinoism, and I think a lot of it has to do with my relationship with Ben, and how important it is to me to see that grow. And there's not a lot of people working with the rennet ghost stuff. It's not readily available.
No, my buddy Chris White works with it, and just a handful of other people. Yeah, and they go like that. They're sold.
Yeah, they're gone. Like if you don't know the breeding's happening, you're not getting one. Period. Yep. You're just not getting one.
100%.
And the rennet ghost stuff, and I always get kind of emotional talking about Ben because those who don't know, Ben Rennet, a pillar in the community for 20 plus years. Amazing man. Nicest. He would give his shirt off his back to anybody. Great guy. Was killed a couple of years ago, and it was just a sad situation. And there's been no closure to it.
No, we'll talk. I'll talk to you more about that specifically off camera, Matt.
Yeah. That's we're gonna keep it positive and keep it moving. Are you drinking beer? Oh, I'm so proud of you. Welcome to the club. But yeah, no. So as far as retics go, I love that Jake said that selective breeding is extremely important. I've slimmed down my collection a lot, and now I'm rebuilding it with some like insanely top quality stuff. I like that Miri has selectively picked out certain ball python projects, and you're selectively picked out ball python projects, and you're not just blowing out 500 ball pythons a year. Like when you guys set up a table, or you guys, I mean, you don't even need to. It's already sold before it's out of the egg. You guys have such quality products that you don't need to promote. People know about it, it's gone. And that's the way I think that the reptile industry, I'm not saying that should go back to that, but I kind of like the days of like.
That's the direction though that it's headed.
Yeah.
Whether people realize it or not, I think that's the issue.
I kind of like that. I like.
So I do too, to an extent. There's people that are complaining that all the hobby's dying, the reptile hobby's dying, the industry's dead, blah blah. No, you're idiots. You're just working with the wrong shit. You're just still over there trying to breed spinners. And if you're breeding spinners this year, I'm sorry, I'm not actively trying to talk shit about you, but you should probably
explain to people that don't know what a spinner is, because when I hear spinner, it's not the same thing you're talking about. Okay,
take it easy over there. Spider pen, so pinstripe, spider pinstripe.
There you go.
If you're and in general, just any of those things that have been bred.
Look, I got retic people watching this. You say spinner, I got like 40 comments coming in my phone right now.
If you're breeding a ball python, and when you when you do the calculation on Morph Market or wherever you go to do the genetic calculator, if you come up with a bunch of babies that, first of all, every single one of them is currently for sale, like they're already available, the market's flooded with them, and they're all $50 a piece or $100 a piece or $200 a piece, maybe don't do that pairing. Unless you've got the network for it. Unless you do, that's great for you. But I'm just saying, don't breed just to breed. Don't, and that goes for anything. That goes for dogs. That goes for cats. That goes for birds. Don't fucking breed because you're like, oh, these go for $100. That's fucking retarded. Excuse my language, but it's facts. That's stupid.
100%. Because they go for $100, but you see them on Morph Market for 90 days, 120 days. That means you got to put food in them, you got to heat them, you got to put water in them. My time is more valuable than $100. I'm sorry. I know you guys are. Like, if I came to work and made $100 a day, I would cry. No offense to anybody that's not making a lot of money. But if I made $100 a day, I would quit that job. Not working for that.
Mm-hmm.
What I do for a living, I make way more than that. So,
yeah, I'm glad to be back in the bar industry.
I cannot wait to open up my restaurant. And the thing is,
I'm happy
I want to bartend.
I can't wait. So, I got a question about that. So, what kind of food are you making?
Okay, so that's a question a lot of people are asking me, and I love food. I mean, you've gone to eat with me. I'm a fat ass.
Oh yeah,
like,
so do I.
love food. Yeah, like we had, for anybody who knows, we had sushi, pasta, calamari, like it was all together, and we just ate it. It was delicious.
I literally showed up, and you guys literally like they were bringing the food out, and I'm like, "What did you guys order?" Everything is everything. Like there was no category, and I was super impressed too because it all looked amazing. Like a restaurant that can literally do Italian, sushi.
I know good food.
Like
all of that shit at the same time, and all of it was top quality. I was super impressed. But
the name of the place put me off before we.
Yeah, me too. I thought it sounded like a generic like bar, like a pub. To me, is what
that's what I was expecting.
That's what I was expecting.
I was thinking burgers. Really absolutely, I could have literally hung out there every day because I could have ordered something different on the menu, off the menu every single time we walked in, and been stoked.
And it would have been cheaper than the hotel.
I don't think I've ever had a restaurant so on point with drinks ever.
Yes, their drinks.
Yeah, no, they were fire.
Like what that was you order a drink, it was there.
Yeah, and there were now everybody that's watching this. There were over 20 people in our party. Yeah. And there was one server. Mm-hmm. One server for our party.
There was like 40. Yeah, at one time there was 40.
Okay, so there was 40 people at one time. Mm-hmm. So when you're thinking about that, you have 40 people, all the drinks were correct, all the food was correct, nothing got sent back, and nothing was missed. I would fly that server from Chicago to my restaurant and hire him, and I'd pay him $20 an hour plus his tips. That's how good this guy was.
Yeah, that dude was phenomenal.
I want to do something similar to that, but minus sushi, add brisket and ribs. So like a little bit of everything. Reason I don't want to do sushi is it's Texas, and I'm not trying to import to like top quality salmon and stuff like that to that area, just because the price point's too high. I'm also going to be doing drinks. Like I'm a mixologist. I've been to college for it. And you know, there's a difference between a bartender that does like volume and a bartender that does
volume versus craft, man. Two totally different deals. I'm volume. I will never tell anybody I'm fucking craft. Not ever.
Craft is better.
I understand that. Listen, I appreciate it and I respect it.
But you can't make a 6-minute cocktail when you have 40.
I don't have the brain for that. I am wired to make shit in 3 fucking seconds. I'm wired to, hey, I want to make 15 of something right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to make.
Did you just tell me you forgot what a Vegas bomb was?
Listen, I told you I've been off of fucking bartending for almost 2 fucking years.
Hey, don't even get mad at it. Don't get mad. He drinks Coors Light. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
But no, I'm going to have a mixture of the two. Because the idea is, so Texas is really cool. And if I get the place I want, it's right down the road from Texas Stadium, which is where the Cowboys play, right around the way from where the Rangers play. A great place. There's 137 restaurants, but there's only 42 that stay open past 10 o'clock. So I'm going to be open till 2 o'clock in the morning. And for anybody who opening in the restaurant industry, as long as everything goes well, you come to Arlington, you have a wristband, I'm going to give you a huge discount. But that'll be announced at the actual Reptile Show. And it's going to be huge. And I want you to kill my servers and my bartenders. I literally, like, you see stress tests with, like, Taffert. Yeah, I want that times 30. But, yeah, it's going to be rough.
So what
just make it real, though.
Going to look like to be, because we were talking about volume versus craft. Are you aiming for one versus the other?
So I love quality.
With it being by the stadium? Sure, me too. I agree.
But you have to separate the two at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So it'll be like a main restaurant, like you go to like, I don't know, like an Applebee's kind of like setting till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then at 9 o'clock, we kick the kiddies out and it becomes like a nightclub. Kind of inspired by a couple friends. I really like the country vibe. We're going to be in Texas. It's close to Fort Worth, but it's not close enough to Dallas. So I'm going to have this whole country theme going on. I've already reached out to some people. I'm going to do like wine barrels as tables and stuff like that. It's going to have a really good vibe. Lighting's going to be very important. Music's going to be super important. But I also have to it can't just be country. I like hip-hop. I like R&B. I've reached out to a buddy of mine. He's going to come through. He's a rap artist, hip-hop, I guess. Reached out to a couple country people that are coming up. Comedians have already said they're going to come through. So obviously I'll have a stage there for stuff. I want to get a mechanical bull, but I just looked at how much they cost and might have to put that off for like a couple of months. They're so insane.
What I'll say about this, I don't know I don't know about how.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Insurance might be one thing, but like there's a lot of companies that oh Jesus. There's a lot of companies that will basically they own stuff like that and they just take a 50% cut off of whatever the profits are. So I mean, I don't know if that's a thing that's out there, just something to look into in terms of any of the mechanics and games and things like that. Oh, of course. I mean that's what makes the most sense in the long term financially. But
my thing is it's only gonna be open Thursday through Sunday, and that's gonna be the big thing. Is like I want craft cocktails at speed, but there's gonna be some things like I have a smoked Manhattan that I'm taking, pineapple infused vodkas, jalapeno infused vodka for margaritas, jalapeno infused tequila, habanero infused tequila. I like my spicy stuff. It's Texas. You better just man up and take it. So I'm gonna have all this infused in jars that people can see and be like, okay, I want that. And I'm not making it with like Skull vodka. I would like to keep my well at a still a premium. Like
Tito's.
a Ciroc or something like that. Yeah, Tito's. Yeah, Tito's.
It's Texas, bro. Well,
Why
is
is it
going to be
always Tito's? It's always
Texas.
Tito's every time.
Texas.
I know, but even if it's not Texas, it's always Tito's that comes up every single time.
I have Tito's.
But it's like
I have Tito's in my speed well. It is the next step up. We have well vodka, and my upsell
Tito's.
every single time. I'm like, do you want well or do you want Tito's? It's the go-to. The other flip side of that though is that shout out to my buddy Murdo. He has Murdo made vodka. We do carry that at my bar, and that's a local North Carolina made vodka. I do push that when I can, but at the same time, brand recognition is important. It's it's a much easier upsell for me to just say, do you want house or do you want Tito's? I'm like, okay, cool. That's an extra buck in my pocket.
And you're getting that 80% of the time for an extra $1.50 to
$2. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things.
The restaurant industry it's the easiest and hardest industry to deal with.
For sure.
Because most restaurants open and close in 2 to 3 years. I've been in the restaurant industry and bartending for over 12, 15 years, not to date myself by any means. And I know it works and I know it doesn't. And I'm going to have guest bartenders coming in from Vegas, Florida, here in Washington, California, New Jersey, New York. I got
North Carolina. I'll be out there. Just let me know. I'm like, Deep Eddy's is from Texas too, by the way. Is that am I misremembering that? Yeah. So Deep Eddy's is another good one. In terms of your flavored vodkas, man, they're great because they use actual fruit. So they're not using the fruit rind, but the actual fruit. So a lot of people don't like it because it is a little bit sweet. But it's one of those like you can do just straight shots. Like I'm not gonna lie, if I've been in a rush, like a straight up rush, and people are ordering freaking lemon drops, I'm like, you're getting Deep Eddy's lemon chilled with a freaking sugar rim and a lemon on it, and that's all you're getting. I am not putting freaking shitty sour mix in vodka. I honestly, at the speed bar that I work at, it tastes better because our sour mix is trash. So it's just sour mix off the gun. Come on.
But that's the big thing. Is like you mentioned local stuff. In Texas, there's a lot of microbreweries. Yeah. So as far as taps go, I want to get 12, but it looks like it's going to be 10. And 6 of those taps are all going to be microbreweries.
For sure.
So that'll be pretty nice. Just because I like supporting local people. I like supporting the little guy.
Well, and your customer base is going to appreciate it. That's the biggest thing. Your customer base appreciates. Hey, what do you have that's local? We get that question all the time. Mm-hmm. We have 10 or 12 tap handles right now, and I think 8 of those are all local. Obviously, when I work in a neighborhood bar in a very, very much local, family oriented neighborhood. Like the neighborhood is a family in and of itself, and so man. That's how you build a clientele. That's how you build a base, because you are not trying to be fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. You're not trying to be in other words, in terms of the way your bar operates, you want it to be special. You're looking for that client that comes in and they're like, what can I get here that I can't get anywhere else?
Exactly.
And so that's awesome.
And that's where the infusions come in. And like being a reptile, like enthusiast isn't a good term. I think like a psycho. Like I've gotten phone calls. If you guys don't know who Phil Gospel USARC is that's watching this, go subscribe to USARC, throw $50 their way. It'll make me happy. It'll make everybody else happy. Phil called me one time. He's like, hey, you want to come to this DC court case? So I went to the court case, and it was 15 minutes. That was it. I flew from Florida to DC for 15 minutes. I felt like it was my love life. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're never long. Oh, your love life. No.
Shut up. Anyway, so I want to take that and I want to put it somewhere in the restaurant, like something really dope. So I haven't talked to her about it, but I'm going to. If you guys don't know who Adeline Robinson is, you guys know Addie. Adeline Robinson is like my favorite
She
artist.
did my logo.
Did she?
I love her so much. Yes, I freaking love her
I've
so
got like
damn much.
6 or 7
She's
pieces
amazing.
from her. And I want to put something up in the restaurant by her, like a big ass piece. But man, she's so backed up, it sucks. Like she's like 5 months out, but that's okay because I'm probably like 6 months out. So I'm commissioning her for that. So go check Addie's page out. I don't know if you link stuff, but I'll link it. She's dope. But yeah, so the restaurant, it's a lot in the making. I have really big ideas and a budget, so I have to figure things out on a budget. Like I'm big into lighting. Like I think lighting sets the mood. I mean, obviously it works on everything else. So my entire bar inside, like where the bartender is, behind it, on top of the bar, even down to the tables surrounding the bar area, it's all got to be right. And that I didn't realize how much lighting costs until I started looking at it. And yeah, God, it hurts my feelings. But I mean, I'm a firm believer. Anything worth having is worth paying for, and worth working for.
Sure.
So, yeah, this is 5-6 years in the making, and it's going to be pretty dope. And the same thing with my reptiles. Like I went from having like albino tigers and like het everything to screw it. I'll tell you some stuff. I'm picking up like I don't know if I should tell people because it's one of one. It's a
Here's the thing, Matt. If it's one of one, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Nobody else can buy it. You have it. Who cares? It's important actually that you talk about it.
Yeah. So I'm picking up. So you guys in the retic, it's a phantom, motley, marble, tiger, het albino, posset, something else.
Which albino? White albino?
Purple.
Okay. Just so people know.
So, yeah, purple and or
even
mochino.
Better.
Purple and or mochino. So it's it hurt my feelings, but it helped out that I was a little tipsy whenever I said, yeah, just add that to my list. And then GC Pieds will be here. Super Phantom stuff that might end up in somebody else's collection because if I hear one more time that they want that, I'm just going to be like, you raise it up and we'll work from there.
Yeah, man.
As she looks down.
That's the way to do things.
She knows what, yeah. And it works out for a lot. And a lot of people don't understand, like, raising up an animal takes a lot of time and effort.
Sure.
So I've been added to a couple of things that I normally wouldn't have been able to even look at as far as, like, price point, like what's a hard project that I'm working with? Triple het anthrax albino pieds. There's only a handful of them in the world right now, and I'm going to have 2 of them next week. So these are, in the reptile industry, building relationships is almost as important as getting the animals.
It is.
And
100%.
Yeah, like building that relationship, like with you guys. Like if Zach ever called me and was like, hey, I need to move all my animals, and I need somewhere to put them for 6 months, and I have no money to pay you, I would be like, all right, well, I'll send you however much shipping is, ship them out, and I'll talk to you in 6 months. We'll figure it out.
What
because
do
I think
get?
that, you know, I can't handle that many animals.
Matt's like, Zach has like 30. You have like 300.
like behind you right now, we can see
all my
30. Yeah.
This is all my animals. I have like 11 in a rack to my left. That's it. Pretty simple. And I'm in a really small room. Miri is showing off an inkling of her collection behind her right now.
Yeah. And so Miri, I want to give you some credit. And this is going to sound, I hope this doesn't come out right. Being a woman in this industry and being as successful as you are, cheers to you, Queen. Like, there's a lot of.
No, thank you.
I'm trying to look for. There's a lot of. There's a lot of dudes that run this industry. I'm going to say that are kind of. They'll buy from you just to talk to you, and I don't feel like your clientele is like that anymore. I think your clientele is like, wow, this chick is keeping up with like the top of the top food chain, and for that, like, I think that's one of the reasons why I admire you so much as far as that goes, as in the industry, is you said this is what I'm gonna be, yeah, everybody knows I'm cute, whatever. But when you look at MSB reptiles or exotics or whatever the fuck it is, you're looking at some of the top quality. And same with the Nova reptile. Is it Nova reptiles or Nova exotics? I can never get
Nava reptiles.
Oh, I've been fucking up the name for a while.
It's all good. It's like lava with an N. It's all good.
Which, by the way, awesome name. Awesome name. I don't know what it means, but it sounds awesome.
It's all good.
And but it's kind of like I'm trying to word this. How many women do you see? And I will support everybody in their own venue or their own way of wanting to be successful. But how many people do you see that are sold out as women in this industry all the time? I know 2. There's you and there's Addie. Other than that, unless it's more people in the ball python world, because I don't know the ball python world. I know the people I like and the stuff I follow, which is great. But really, like, the reptile industry is a male-dominated thing. And I'd like to ask you this real quick. It's a male-dominated industry. Like,
for now.
95%. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So obviously you broke through with your insane quality stuff, your ability to vibe and connect with everybody. Like, nobody has anything salty to say about
she networks like a motherfucker. People don't understand. Like, people talk shit like, oh, Miri's always quiet when she does lives. And like, y'all have no fucking idea the level of fucking networking and how fucking amazing Miri is at these shows, bro. She knows more fucking people than people that have been in this industry way longer than she has. She's a fucking beast.
When it comes down to retic people, it's nice to introduce her to the retic people in the retic community and help out as much as I can. But when it comes down to just knowing everybody with every little, like, gecko people, I don't like 4 gecko people. I like them. I love geckos. I have a lychee and I have a couple cresties, but not like she does. And I've been in this industry for 12 years. Nowhere near that quality. So as a master of a craft that you've just started, what would you give advice to, say, a 15 to 20-year-old young lady? Because I've never heard you speak on it. I've actually gone through all your stuff.
Yeah, like, I say this every time. Honest, the only thing that I would say is, well, I was a shy person with the whole, like, I mean, even being on here. Now it's fine, but networking is just go to the freaking shows, like, all the time. Go to every single show you can, and that's what I've done since day one, since I got into this hobby. And I mean, I've been doing this going to the shows for 8 years. So even just going for only 8 years compared to, like, everybody else, it's just, you gotta, like, break out of your shell and actually talk to people in person. You talk to people all day on the internet. Everybody's gonna, like, end up knowing your name, as long as you're on here too. But before I did all the lives, they were like, who are you? Who? Like, I don't know who you are. But going to the shows, it's a different, like, atmosphere, and that's the only thing that I would say that would really make a huge difference, other than, like, putting yourself out there. But girls get a lot of flack for that, and it's really annoying, because when the guys are looking at you all the time, oh, she just like posts in these skimpy shirts or whatever, and it's like, you know what? Who gives a shit what you look like? No, like, nobody's. I mean, well, some people care, but for the people who matter, that doesn't freaking matter, like, at all. It absolutely doesn't. So go to the damn shows. Just, that's my 100% number one response. Go to the shows.
I agree with that. I agree. That's how we met. And we met at a Tinley that was canceled, and we played Cards Against Humanity till, like, I think I've mentioned before that, though. I'm pretty sure we met. But you're right. And the big thing.
We met a little bit before that, but when we really met each other, that was Cards Against Humanity.
Like, we met in passing, but that was the extent of it.
40 people.
But I think the biggest part of that is, like, again, just using Miri as an example in terms of the question that was asked.
Yeah. You
can't meet her in person and listen to her speak as intelligently as she does about so many species that she walks by on tables. Like, we're walking around, she's just like, oh, did you see those? And she's using the fucking scientific names. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about right now. Way the fuck over my head. But that's my point, is, like, just being on top of your shit,
that's
and nobody
a good
can
topic
not
because I think
respect you.
Facts.
not only talking about the ball pythons, and people think that I'm just a ball python person. I'm absolutely not.
You're not.
And
I found this out
I'm
recently.
huge into learning things. And just like Bradley on Connected by Creatures with you,
Exactly.
Zach, like me and him are both into herping so much, and just all that extra knowledge that you can add into this industry is going to end up like boosting your career even more, because you don't have to only work with these colors of snakes. You're actually going to know where they came from, why they're from here, or whatever. Do your friggin' research and stop just sitting at home thinking like, oh yeah, it's just about these ball pythons. Like it's a lot more than just breeding snakes for me, and it's so much more interesting than a lot of people make it out to be. It's not just about getting eggs for the season or whatever. It's herping and going out with friends and building relationships with people outside of the country. And just all that is so much better than what it could be just breeding ball pythons.
I think the three of us should go on a herping trip somewhere out of the country. I'm just saying, I'd like to go to Bali. Personal reasons, I'd love to see a wild retic. Not saying I'm gonna get railed, but I think that would be so sick. And apparently it's super cheap. So if you guys are down for that, I was gonna talk to you about it off, but now I'm gonna put you on the spot and say, let's go somewhere herping and go into.
I'm always down to go out of the country.
Out of this world. Fact. I gotta get my passport.
Yeah.
Texas herping is going to be so lit, bro. It's gonna be so lit. Because for those of you that don't know, we're going to the DFW area, Dallas Fort Worth area. But if we just go a little bit south, man, I'm so excited. I got to hit up Venom Life for some hooks before I go, because I snapped a hook last night. That was so great. I was so excited about that. I went herping last night in my own fields, like late at night, and I put my hook on the back of the truck and I ran it over, and I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah, but yeah, no, I think that'd be
do
great
that before I leave.
Go. Oh my God, I would love to go herping down there. I mean, it's only a 6-hour drive from where you're going to be. Which I go herping for 3 hours and drive back. I have no sense of time or sleep.
Oh, I go for 8 hours, more than that.
You're nuts.
At least
it's hot. It's so hot. But yeah, no, I really appreciate you putting that out for the young ladies that like are watching this, that are like, okay, she's a really dope person. And the other thing is like, if you see, I would argue to say anybody you've ever seen on your podcast are incredibly approachable. So if you have questions, a straight DM, or if you see us at a show, come take a picture. You're probably going to be invited to like dinner, lunch, drinks. Yep. You're probably going to get handed a beer. You want to go behind a table, you don't know people. Don't go behind a table if you don't know people, unless you like conversate and whatever. Like there's never an instance in the reptile community, and I think it's gotten a lot stronger since a lot of the people that wanted to make quick buck out of it, and there are going to be always people that want to make a quick buck. They're mostly gone. They're going to come and go, but the main reptile community, dude, they're just really good people. And they come from all over the country. There's people coming from Canada. There's people coming from all over the world for these huge shows. And for those of you guys who don't know, Tinley's like one of the biggest shows in the world, if not the biggest. It argues between that and the one in Germany or whatever it is. And seriously, it's the biggest one in the country. It's massive. And everybody's approachable. Everybody wants to have that conversation. Even if you never spend a dime with them. Now, granted, don't waste people's time. But
there's a line.
There's a line. Don't spend 45 minutes in interrupting conversation with a buyer. Be like, hey, I don't understand how this genetic works. Because there's a lot of genetics I didn't understand. Like bananas, why do they produce only males? That bothers me. That's not a reason.
They don't only produce males, but we'll talk about that.
I found this out recently. Like
Miri and I can explain it to you later. It's all good.
and I've been in the industry since like I was 15. That's like 40-something years.
Yeah, that's not a slight to you, by the way, because again, the ball python stuff is new, and it is fucking weird. I get it. So I'm not talking shit. I'm just letting you know.
And the cool thing about ball pythons is you have like retics. We have like 20-something morphs. There's a couple of people with some hidden genes. I'm not going to put any names out there. Sal, Gavin, or Aubrey. Nobody else. But like anyway, there's some things that you have in your collection that nobody knows about.
Sure.
And nobody's going to know about until it's ready to be produced. Bob Clark held on to freaking berms for how many years?
Mm-hmm.
It was like a 6-year ban. And he held on to them and didn't say nothing. And then all of a sudden the ban gets lifted. He has like 85 of them for $50,000. And he's already got like albinos. And I'm like, what are you doing, Bob?
Yeah.
By the way, Bob Clark, great guy. Love him. He's between him, Gavin Bowe, and James Mitchell, and James Mitchell's old partner, Jason Reed. That's why I got into retics. Because retics, when I started, were chainsaws. They would light you up. They were wild caught, and they were nasty as anything. Now, they're like puppies. Like, the first couple months, they're a little rough. But, like, they're puppies. And we have, I would argue, saying retics are one of the smarter animals. Like,
oh, they're super intelligent. You can literally you can look in their eyes and see them thinking. They're the only snake that I have, because I've ball pythons have retics. When I interact with my retics, yeah. Well, no, the first snakes that I bought were retics, were dwarf retics. It was that world's only pair of 50% Slayer, Tiger, Het, Rennet, Ghost retics. That was the first snakes that I bought when I got back into the hobby. I mean, I had a ball python when I was in high school, but that was the first pair of snakes that I bought off of Garrett, and man, it's amazing to me. Dude, and that was the thing. I pestered Garrett for months because he knew that I wanted something very particular. He knew that I wanted something very special and something very much that I could build a collection on in terms of my dwarf and super dwarf. Yeah, exactly. And so he literally, I was at work and he texted me and he's like, "Hey, I've got some animals that I think would be perfect for you. Can I call you?" And I was like, absolutely. I walked out of work into the parking lot. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Fire me. I don't care. Obviously, when Garrett Hartle, who at that point in time was just this guy that I knew from fucking watching all of his YouTube content, when he texted me, amazing. It's phenomenal. Even when it was literally him filming on his iPhone, the content was phenomenal because of the content itself, the information that was in there. It didn't matter what it looked like or sounded like. Anyways, I took the fucking phone call in the parking lot and he's like, "Look, they're expensive. They're not going to be cheap, but this is what's going on. It's the world's only pair. There were only 3 eggs that survived from this clutch. The pairing's never been repeated." And as he just like got further, I was like, "Just tell me what you need. Like, you just tell me. You can tell me where to send the fucking money. Like, I'll figure it out." And so yeah, man. Like, it's just, anyways. Yeah, you look at your retics are phenomenal.
Like, yeah, but also ball pythons. Like, some of the things that you guys are putting out, like you're working with. There's Monarch. You're working. Is it Orange Dream?
Ultramel.
What are you working with?
Ultramel. I'm working with Ultramel.
By the way, I love Orange Dream. I don't know why.
Orange Dream's great. It's a very nice enhancing incomplete dominant gene.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's an incomplete dominant gene. So it's like Tiger. It's like Tiger and retics. Okay. It's beautiful. Well, it's not, to be fair, I'm not comparing those because it's definitely not like Tiger, because Tiger obviously is a very like pattern changing thing. But I just mean in terms of the fact that it's an incomplete dominant. So value wise, that's where it's at. So it's like, you got OD, you got super OD, and then there's also different lines of Orange Dream where like some of them are more intense. It's all weird. Anyways, continue what you're going to say.
So what you're saying is, I need to talk to you before I buy anything.
Sure.
Like I'm buying 5. For those of you who don't know, I'm already buying snakes from Miri or Sydney or however you know her. MSP Reptiles. I'm already buying stuff. We've already got it figured out. We just got to figure out shipping because it's hotter than Satan's. Never mind. It's hot out here.
Yeah. What happened to those cave-dwelling rat snakes?
They have to be okay.
We got to talk about that. This is important.
No, I'm telling everybody how you took advantage of a drunk man. See, this is what happened was.
That is not true. I want to preface this before he even tells the story, because I was there and I was very sober, and this whatever he's about to say is definitely not the way that it happened.
No. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what happened. The last 45 minutes, hour of of Schaumburg. I knew what I wanted, and she mentioned these rat snakes, and there's a couple of rat snakes I really want to get into, and she mentioned these cave-dwelling rat snakes.
Hold on. Yeah, you can't even say it right. First of all, Second of all, you asked me, you're like, wait a minute, what were you after this whole time? And I was like, oh, I like saw these on the table and I can't find them again. All of a sudden, you're sending me this picture like, hey, I bought them. I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
So
Really?
my rule of thumb is in life, there's not many opportunities where you get to enjoy something for very long. And
Or
I would
enjoy
argue
something because someone else enjoys it. And so you're like, I enjoy it more because it makes me feel good that I bought it when you had the opportunity to buy it. And you didn't.
And now you don't have it, and I'm going.
And now I have it, and you can't have it, and I can lord it over you. That's what I'm hearing.
That's really what it comes down to. But
wait for the story, guys. You'll understand what I'm saying.
And I saw a picture of him, and I went over to a buddy of mine's table that I bought rat snakes from before in the past. And I talked to his wife, and I was like, hey, can I get these? And they're like, man, we don't have any. We've got eggs in the incubator. We have like 4 or 5 clutches. I was like, can I get an unrelated pair? And they're like, yeah. Now, mind you, these snakes for like 2-year-olds are like $1,200. And I don't care enough about these snakes. But when I saw pictures of them, I was like blown away. They are.
I'm going to cut you off really quick. I want everybody to highlight that he just said, I don't care that much about these snakes.
I didn't at the time.
This is the moment. This is the moment where I'm going to rip apart our guest, which is probably not the best thing to do as a host of this channel, but it feels important to me because this was so wrong. It was so wrong what you did.
It was wrong.
Get out of here.
It was kind of jacked up. No, it was kind of jacked up. So I went in and I talked to him about it, and I got the information on how to care for him. Because first of all, you should never buy an animal if you don't know how to care for it. You don't have the proper caretaking facility. Do your research, and they're 48 days out anyway, and then it's another 8 to 10 weeks before I can get them home. So that gives me enough time to move to Texas and set up their enclosure. So my thought is, okay, I'm gonna get these Cape snakes, and they're cool as hell, and then I'm gonna send a picture to Miri and be like, look what I got, because there's nobody breeding them. The only person that's breeding them is the same table she was looking at, but she didn't talk to him about further breedings. So I took the initial step.
I didn't see them.
Just because you don't see them doesn't mean they don't exist.
Well, no, she had seen them at that point. Literally, we had been walking around the show. She had seen them, and she was like, that's the snakes. Yeah, go ahead, Mary.
I'm gonna end up buying them, and I'm always like, you know what? If it's meant to be, I'm gonna walk the show twice. I always do this. It's twice. I don't go nuts on spending right away unless it's Tinley. I do that at Tinley. But Schaumburg, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take my time, whatever. Yeah, but I didn't even know what was going on. So I did my 2-time walk around, and then all of a sudden they were just freaking gone. Yep.
The only people to buy rat snakes from is Zirkle. Other than that, you don't buy them. Like that is the rat snake guy. Like he has the best of the best in the country. Like you guys have insanely awesome ball pythons. I would go to you guys before I talk to anybody else.
And Clubrids.
Well, I didn't know you had Clubrids till pretty recently.
Miri has a ton of Clubrids.
I know.
And bearded dragons and various other things. Like I want her so badly to talk about all the stuff that she works with because it's absurd.
We can do that. Let's do that. Because
we'll do that in a minute. No, you're trying to deflect from the fact that you completely robbed her of some animals that she really wanted.
No,
because let's clarify. I'm gonna do this right now. Miri had decided it was the first time we'd walked through the show. She's like, oh, I really like those. They're never for sale. Nobody ever sees them, but they're here. I really would like to have those, but let's do a quick second lap around the show to see if there's anything else I want to spend money on. And literally we walked, she had a conversation. She's like, yeah, I think let's go back and see if they're still available. I'm going to go ahead and pick them up. And we get back and she's like, they're gone. And then, by the way, not only that, in between at some point, we had run into Matt. She had spoken to him about these exact animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, no,
spoken about these exact animals.
Everything he's saying
I know that everything I'm saying is true. And then Matt goes and thought it would be funny, which, for the record, it kind of is, and it still is. And it stings, but it is hilarious. I'm sure that it stings, but it's hilarious. Matt in his brain goes, oh, you really want those? And you're going to go keep walking around? I'm fucking buying them.
But wait, I didn't get that pair. No. Back up. I didn't get that pair.
Okay, maybe I don't have all the details, but that's the bold points that I have.
No. I didn't get the pair because the pair was gone. Because I was going to buy the pair. Because I thought that was funny. And the thing is we're going to be in the same area. So, like, if I want to go see them, she obviously knows what she's doing in Colubrids, and she's obviously got the facility for it. So I could just be like, here, I want babies, and I get babies, and I don't have to worry about it.
You're forgiven.
That was my mindset. That was my mindset. So with these, I'm like, okay, I really like what she's doing. She's one of like maybe 10 people I trust with my animals. Excuse me. I could literally drop these snakes off at her house. That's going to be like an hour from mine.
Yeah.
She'll have them, but I'll own them. And when she does go to produce them, I'm like, hey, I want like 2 of these, and I don't have to worry about it. That was my mindset on it. And that's where this whole thing's going. It's like, yeah, Miri's one of my favorite people in the reptile industry, hands down. Nobody I've ever met can match my energy. And she does. It's weird. It's fucking weird. I don't know how I feel about it. Zach, you're very close to matching my energy. It doesn't happen. Like if somebody told me that I was on coke, I'd believe them. I've never done a drug in my life outside of obvious conversations from earlier. And, but the mindset was, okay, this person's going to help me out down the road. We have a project we're working on together. I reached out to her the other day about some stuff. We have a project that's insane. Like in the retic industry, it's beautiful. It's arguably one of the most beautiful snakes, and we're doing a project together, and that's cool. So if I put $600 worth of snakes in her hands, if I can't trust her with that, I shouldn't trust her with $50,000 to $100,000 worth of snakes. That's my mindset on that. And yeah, they're cool, but I'll see more pictures from her than I would ever with me. They would sit in a tub, and I'd look at them when I feed them.
Of snakes.
Yeah. So my mindset was, okay, I'm going to buy these. I'm going to buy these. Wait, where'd you go with that? Hang on. You weirdo. I love you. For those of you guys that don't know, me, Miri, and Zach talk a lot. Like, I think I talk to them almost as much as I talk to everybody else. Like, except for the girl that I work out with, I think I talk to you guys more than anybody else. But all the wraps around. The snakes were bought. Yes, it was bought because she thought she was going to have them, and I wanted them, so I could say I have these, and I was going to give them to her at the end of the weekend. That was what was going to happen, but they didn't have them available. So we're still, I think it's like 36 more days plus another 8 to 10 weeks. So whatever that comes out to be, and then they'll be in our possession. And I say our possession because I'm going to get them shipped to my house, and then I'm probably just going to drop them off at yours. And then when they have babies, and they're unrelated pair, that's a really cool thing. They're unrelated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when they have babies, I just want a female, and I don't really give a crap about that. I think they're really beautiful. I'd like to set them in a thing, but their max temperature is like 72. My house sits at 84 because I like my animals enough that 10 feet away, I have a lace monitor. Like 12 feet that way.
I'll need one of those too. Yeah.
You're gonna look. We're gonna have to make a lot of trades for that to happen. Okay. We'll have to figure, like you might be a maid and clean my house and all my cages for like a year.
Oh hell no!
I love that when Miri asks for something, she plays with her hair a little bit. She's like,
she does.
I'm gonna need one of those.
Hair, and then she adjusts other things. She's like, I'm pretty. Just send me a lace monitor. Shit. That lace monitor project, if you guys don't know, Bellface lace monitor, I have a female. That took me, oh my God, that took me 4 years to pull the trigger on.
That's a lot of
bartending. It's like a $7,000-8,000 lizard for those guys that don't know what a bell is.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked at a deal. I got to work with Dan Rowe. If you guys don't know Rowe Reptiles, go check it out. One of the best. If he ever invites you, he's out of, I don't know where he's at. He's like Boston or New Hampshire or something like that. One of the most beautiful, clean facilities I've ever been into, next to Ben Rennick's. Like, when I mean clean, I mean, we're talking 100, 200, 300 animals, 250, give or take. And you don't see a shed. You don't see. And this is after a weekend in Tinley, and then I did a road trip to Nerd because Nerd's epic, but no feces, no urine smell. The place was place was cleaner than my house. Yeah. And Dan Rowe is a freaking amazing. A lot of people sleep on him because he doesn't breed. He just keeps everything.
Sure.
So
I love to buy stuff from people that don't put themselves out on social media and stuff like that. Those are honestly a lot of times, not to knock myself, those would be the people that you want to buy from a lot of times are the people that don't do that shit. You know, they're the people that are just like, yeah, I don't need to. My stuff sells itself is just that fucking good.
And giving yourself some credit, like you've made some. I wish I would have videoed everything I've done because I think I would have had way more followers by now. Go follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat.
Yeah, please do. His stuff's all gonna be in the description.
And but man, you have gone all over the country. You have seen some of the best collections in the country. I mean, both of you guys have.
Yeah, Miri, for sure.
Oh my God! Like some of the stuff I see, and you guys don't post about it. It's just like I did this. Like you do because you're smart about it. But Miri, you don't. I mean, you don't have to. Like Miri's got me wanting to buy Coda Mondays what are they called? Coda Monday?
Coatis.
Coatis.
Coata
Monday. I want one.
Oh, I will have one when I move. Yep.
My God. I want one. They're so cute. I wonder if I get along with my dogs. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
And they're basically like South American raccoons, right?
Yeah.
I'm watching Miri shake her head. I'm like, correct. That's why I said, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know shit. I just know they're basically like raccoons, but we don't have them here. So Miri, do you want to tell us about some koala?
No, to Matt. That was to Matt, not you.
Oh, okay.
What did I do?
So they are like South American raccoons?
No, well, I'm pretty sure they're in Mexico too, because you can find them native in New Mexico. There's one that hangs around in Rodeo that'll just come out of the trees and eat stuff out of your hands. They're freaking amazing. I love koatis so much.
They're really
and Earl's Roscoe, he is my baby. I love him so much. I can't wait to see him again. He freaking loves me. I always go and buy marshmallows on my way there. I freaking love him.
Oh my God. See, it's cool stuff like this.
I literally heard from people like, Roscoe loves Miri so much. Like he literally recognizes Miri when she walks up to the cage. Like, it must be the red hair. I don't know.
I love him so much.
I'm going to say something. It's not very controversial. I haven't found somebody who doesn't love the hell out of that girl.
No, 100%.
Miri,
you're not wrong.
Everybody, I've never seen you get pissed. Look,
listen, we're not talking about your exes right now, okay?
we don't have enough time for a Jerry Springer or a Maury episode. I mean, fuck it, whatever. But like animal-wise, I've never seen you even get bit. Like, it's bullcrap. I got bit like 20 times yesterday because I have
I get bit every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get bit all the time. Oh yeah.
That makes me feel way better.
Not by my retics. I'm not by the retic, but by the hatchlings every time I'm in there. Oh my God. Yeah, I get bit. I'm on the phone with Zach. I'm like, damn it.
I was gonna say, just call her while she's trying to do feedings or cleanings, and she's like, you motherfucker. Just yeah. If you have a sensitive disposition to profanity, don't call Miri while she's cleaning.
She sounds like she's got Tourette's.
Yeah, pretty much. She's Tourette's. God fucking damn it, you motherfucker. All right. So, anyways, so what I was saying is, God motherfucker.
Oh my God. Everybody sees this like sweet, innocent girl, and then you hear her talking to her animals. It's like, oh my God. I feel like she's a mom.
Just for the record, she's very sweet to her animals. She has a lot of them that she loves dearly. I love Zazu, by the way. I don't think people even know that you have Zazu. He's wonderful. He adores you. He follows her around. She's got a bird.
Yeah, I know. I should get him in one of these someday.
Absolutely. He follows her around the house. He wanted nothing to do with anyone else. Like literally, he's just like focused on her. Like just that is her bird.
That's nuts. Screw that noise. I don't do birds.
Neither do I, but honestly, he's pretty great.
I know you don't.
I was saying that not that long ago.
What do you mean I know you don't? Awesome. What is that? Oh, did I show you the bite that I got from the military macaw? Almost took my finger off.
But you told me about it, and you were just so upset.
I was in my feelings about that macaw. That hurt. I really wanted to be my friend, and it would not be my friend. Like, I've worked with panthers, and I've worked with tigers, and never gotten... I've gotten scratched, but that's it. And I got beat up by a 3-pound bird.
Birds are the worst.
I'm so mad.
Yeah.
I'm so mad about it, but that's okay. So one of the things I really, really wanted to touch on is okay. I know, and I'm gonna get way away from me getting effed up by a 3-pound bird. So you guys are working with 2 way different projects. that look very similar.
Sure.
Okay. Now, seeing them in person, obviously you see the difference in similarities, and they're obviously going to do different things with genetics. Who do you think is better? And why?
Oh goodness. Yeah,
I
keep
like how he
drinking,
just
guys.
starts drinking. He's drinking for like 11 minutes. He's like, I'm not.
No, in all
We
seriousness,
both know. He's been trying to buy into Monarch. It's okay. Nobody worries.
I've not been trying to buy into Monarch.
Mary, why you gotta lie? Why you gotta lie? I know that's not true because we've talked about this.
Okay.
No, so for me personally, and here's the thing, what I love, honestly, is I love she and I's stories about how we got into the projects, like why we have passion for the stuff that we work with, and the dichotomy between the two, because her passion for that project and why she bought into it and loves it so much, in all honesty, is way more personal and way more impressive of a story. But that's pretty normal. Like her, in general, her collection, what she does every day, her number of animals, her business is significantly more impressive than anything that I have going on. And
I
will
don't
be.
even need to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I got this covered.
Why don't you wear an MSP shirt? Hang on here.
Yeah. Give me a second. But no, I have Ultramel, man, because the first time that I saw it, I loved it, and the reason I brought up she and I's stories and why I love them is it's the same story. The first time she saw one, she's like, I love that. I love it so much, and I need it. That's how I felt about Ultramel. I was like, I have to pursue this. The first time I saw one, I was like, I love that so much. I don't like albino ball pythons. I don't, they're just basically
I'm
very
the same way.
So for me, when I saw the first Ultramel, and who got me into the project at the end of the day was Gavin from Balls to You in the UK.
Okay.
I loved the way that he spoke so passionately about it, and the fact that I don't know, it was different. I had never heard anyone talk about it. And I cling to stuff like that. If there's something that's different, that's outside the box, that not a ton of people are working with, that not a lot of people are promoting, I'm like, that's my shit. Like that's for whatever reason, like as a person, that's always been my personality. So like when he was talking about that on video, it spoke to me. It spoke to my fucking soul. I was like, I want to hang my hat on that shit right there. So I started looking into it.
Though? What got you both into reptiles? Because like reptiles is not it's a hobby. It's no longer a hobby for people like us. It is a complete lifestyle. Like
it's a lifestyle. It's a passion.
Yeah. Like everything we do revolves around. Like we go to work to feed our animals. Like we might eat ramen noodles for 6 months because we bought a $6,000-$7,000 animal, and that's we see that as acceptable. Like we'll be like late on a rent to make sure that we have something
and not bat an eye.
And nothing. Boom, done. I mean, the last hour of Tinley, I don't even want to discuss how much I spent, but it was disgusting. Like I haven't spent that much money. And then our bar tabs I was very upset about the bar tabs.
So was I. I was on the phone with her. I was like, wait, did we spend this much at such and such bar? And she's like, I think you did. I was like, fuck.
Okay, we'll come back to this. But I want to know how much you guys think we spent at Schaumburg. I can tell you exact numbers.
I don't want to talk about it at all.
Oh, God.
All I know is that
I don't either.
One round of drinks at Schaumburg pre-auction because the auction bar was backed up. So I ran with Blake Stewart.
Before the auction. That was what, 100
ran with Blake Stewart. And we're not talking about the auction, by the way, Matt. That's completely off limits. I want to let you know that right now. I ran with Blake Stewart. I understand. I'm just letting it. It doesn't matter. Nobody needs to know. Anyways, I ran with Blake Stewart to the bar at the hotel before the auction because I was like, "Fuck it, it'll be quicker for us to walk over there." I spent $120 on 4 Coors Lights, 3 ciders, and 1 margarita. $120 in like 3 minutes.
Yep.
And those ciders didn't even get drank. So guess what? I woke up the next morning at like 8 a.m. and started drinking. I was drinking those warm ass ciders that got poured like fucking 15 hours before
That was when I wasn't allowed to get freaking food, Zach. So I was drinking all day and I had
I
no
know.
food.
Listen, I'm not discrediting you for not having drank the ciders I bought. I'm not upset about that. I was
That's
actually,
how you're
I
gonna
was.
get me like angry
No.
in front of people.
Listen,
It's
no, my point is,
food,
I
hangry.
was so happy about it because the next morning I was like, oh fuck, I don't even have to go to the bar. I got 3 ciders right here. I already paid for. I was so glad that I brought them back to the room with us.
So
because
for
at 8 in the
everybody
morning, I was
watching,
like, I need this.
so for everybody watching, this bar was very nice. It was in the hotel. It was
Oh,
beautiful.
the hotel was
yeah.
gorgeous.
The bartender was pretty good, minus his
Oh, he
Bloody
was-
Marys.
Yeah, the bloodies were bad, but that's not his fault.
Bloodies
The
were bad.
ingredients were just shit.
No. I will openly tell you what I spent on food because I put it all on a single credit card. Food and
Oof.
alcohol. $1,776, and that includes tip. In 3 days. I like how you guys both just got quiet.
No, but that sounds about right, man. Because that's the thing. Here's the thing. I didn't do the math. I did not do the math on what I
put
spent
it
at
all on
that
one
show.
credit card.
Listen.
Don't
So
look
did
back.
I. So did I. I could absolutely look back and do the math. I just know better. I would cry. I would cry in my beer right now.
teared
I would look back.
I teared up as I sent the credit card payment. I was like, this hurts. My
Mhm.
credit dropped 12 points because of that weekend.
Yes, because they're like, wait a minute, this guy's spending way too much.
I think all of our credit scores drop
Oh.
every expo, every time.
Bro,
Oh,
they
for
do.
sure.
Now,
Well,
to
that
be
wasn't
fair, they
even
go
it.
right back up afterwards, so it's all good. But
No, not at all. No, I still, because I may or may not have bought a lot of snakes the last hour of Schaumburg. I bought a lot. So that's
That was
how we
my
broke it up
plan
into, like,
too.
how many did you walk away with? How
None.
many snakes did you walk away with?
That was
Two.
my second show that I've ever not walked away with.
I have 9 animals coming to me. And the cheapest one was $900.
You don't even have them yet. You're not doing it right.
It's 100 degrees where I live. And these people, actually, Zach could probably go pick up 2 for me because he's in the Carolinas. So, yeah, no.
we'll talk about it after.
8 or 9 animals. And, yeah. 2 of them aren't born yet, so we'll see how that goes. And then I really like one of them. I'll never breed it. It's a cow retic. I just wanted it, so I bought one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So.
they're pretty, man. They're pretty. Not bad.
They're pretty, but
allelic animals are tough. Allelic animals are tough in terms of breeding.
yeah, and I don't think that the cow is the. I think the Phantom and the OGS, great investments, phenomenal. I think Phantoms are insane. I think I have a couple here. I have some OGS stuff. I love it. I think the cow is a great show animal and a great like display animal in your house. But the only issue I have with cows, and I'll probably get some hate for this, is you don't know what's in it unless it's got GC. GC, Golden Child. Add some like golden and yellow specklings to it.
Jake's
But if
is
you have, like-
gorgeous.
That's
Jake's
a
is a
beautiful,
GC?
Yeah, that is a
Yeah,
beautiful,
Jake.
beautiful
I would
animal.
argue Jake has, and then Aubrey has probably my top 2 favorite cows I've ever seen.
Mhm.
And they're both Golden Child. I think that like when you add Tiger, it yellows it out a little bit. Like mine will come in with a little bit of yellowing. I don't think it has any GC in it, but you don't really know what it's got. It's like pos. It's kind of like when you get like a ivory ball or a blue-eyed Lucy ball python. Yeah, they're gorgeous, but what is it? And until you put it,
But they sell.
they do. Yeah, they do, and they sell for a good price.
That's
They sell,
the thing. That's the
and they're
thing about
holding their price
cows.
really low.
You will never, ever, and I say this with confidence. You will never overproduce cow retics.
I'll agree to that. And I don't think the cow I think the cow retic, the orange ghost stripe stuff, the genetic that I'm not allowed to talk about. I'll talk to you guys off camera. I think that will never. And I think that oh my god, OGS, cow. I don't think that ocelot. I don't think in the next 10 to 12 years will drop below $1,000.
No.
Confidently, I say that.
No, I would tell you that that's a fact. That's factual information.
Okay.
Let
I
alone if you
appreciate
put
that.
it in a dwarf and super dwarfs, just
You don't
basically
know it,
triple
but
that.
I have notes write down here to talk about throughout this conversation.
No,
I wrote
that's
them down
good.
on my phone. I wrote them down on my phone, but I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be on my phone doing this, so it's not gonna work out. So like roundabout to it, with retics, I love the fact that the responsible retic breeders, like your Shane Costellos, your Jake Klotz, your Aubrey Pruitts, your Gavin Bowe, Izzy Exotics, Titan Retics, like those guys are pillars for this industry, and they are producing animals that like world's first, and they're doing it every year. And I'm really proud to be really good friends with these guys. Like I look at like I would argue that I would fight a bear for most of these guys, like hypothetically. Maybe really.
You're moving to Texas, so be careful what you ask for, because
I want
somebody
a
might
Bengal
set that
tiger
up.
so bad. I'm saying it right now. If I get to land, I'm buying a tiger. I don't care what anybody says. I will buy a tiger. But no, I'm not gonna buy a tiger. That's ridiculous. Maybe some crocs, and maybe some alligators, but that's about it. But I really like where the retic industry is going, as far as they're being incredibly responsible. These guys don't sell to anybody under 18. They're questionable. I watched one of them card somebody, and that to me, because ball pythons are amazing, and I might get some flack from the retic guys, but screw that. Your color combinations, your pattern combinations, they're endless. They'll never be like, you guys could create 40 world's first a year, while retic people do 2 or 3. There's no comparison, unless the border's open, and then we're going to catch up to you guys so fast.
They won't.
You say that.
It's not happening.
I will make a friendly bet with you right now. Within the next 10 years, we open up our borders. $100 or a bar tab. I think the bar tab.
$100. I know bar tabs are good. $100. I guarantee.
Done. 10 years.
$100. We'll not happening. 10 years from now. All right, we got this to refer back to.
Within. Because I know that Phil Goss is, dude. That guy's a freaking unit, bro. Like, I don't sleep. I don't know how he does it, man. Like, he's on point all the time, and just a really amazing individual. And without him, we would be nowhere in our industry. And a lot of people don't understand that. They came after the big ones, and they're going to come after ball pythons. They're going to come after boas. It's because it's not a cat or dog. Like, if you want to get rid of invasive species in Florida, okay, open season on cats, open season on hogs, open season on. I mean, do I agree that you shouldn't have berms in Florida? Yeah, fuck yeah. They're not supposed to be there. They're killing invasive species, but 9 songbirds in the last 6 years over cats? Come on, bro. I know we're changing the subject, but this is like
it is an important topic to talk about.
The laws that are infringing on our rights to own these exotic animals with the respect and the. Do I believe in permitting? Hell yes, I believe in permitting 100%. Just like I believe in permitting with guns. I tote guns everywhere I go. I was just talking to Miri about it. I was gonna buy her a gun because I was like, "You're moving to Texas. You want one? I can send it to you. We'll just transfer it over." I got it like literally right here.
Oh yeah.
But my thing is like with these larger or potentially dangerous animals, hell yeah. But what retic or what venomous breeder wouldn't pay $50 a year to have that?
Yep.
I believe nationwide, $50 a year, hell, $100 a year, I would pay that. My car insurance is more than that. Screw that. Let's go. And responsible keepers, like there's a kid out in South Carolina that supposedly have a cobra out currently. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, are you talking about?
I don't remember what state it was, but the zebra one.
Yeah. Is it Raleigh?
That was in It was North Carolina. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they caught it.
Yeah, Miri and I just talked about this. Yeah, they caught it. Yeah.
So for me, as somebody that I will go to war 1,000 days, 365 days a year, for what I believe is right, and I don't care how it's perceived. Some of the things I say are really like, I'm not a political person except for with reptiles. I'm moving to Texas because I want to own a cobra and some crocodiles. Let's be very, 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 very realistic about it. I can open a restaurant here, but I've seen pied alligators, and I thought that was the second coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I want one. So I'm going to save for 6 years and buy one. And but the permitting and supporting guys like Phil Goss that are fighting for our rights to own these animals, because they're not going to stop at large constrictors. They're not going to stop at venomous. What makes them stop? Like the ball python industry, arguably, is $1 billion industry. Arguably,
Yeah.
if not more. But like when you look at like your anacondas, I mean, anacondas 6 years ago were $50. Now they're $1,500 to $2,000, depending on where you look at it.
Yep.
We open those borders back up. Yeah, the price is going to drop back down. They're going
Well, that's why I say I don't think the borders are going to open back up in terms of the import export stuff with retics. And I think honestly, I think that most people in the industry that work with those animals would say that they don't want them to. We have what we need. Here's the thing. There might be a handful. There are, and I know there are. That's with everything. The same people that are still importing ball pythons. Okay, the same people that are still bringing wild caught ball python babies. Like fuck that. For the record, it's stupid as shit. It's absolutely fucking $100 bag. But I'm just saying. I think that we, as keepers, have to be responsible about the way that we think about this stuff, man. Again, the dwarf and super dwarf stuff.
Yeah.
I hate that we're cut off now from being able to bring in fresh bloodlines with specific locality data. I hate that. That breaks my heart because there's a lot of localities that we will not ever be able to really, really keep pure in the United States. Like I have a pure Tom Longan that is here on breeding loan from Garrett Hartle. And we don't have a lot of that bloodline. We don't have much Karampa bloodline. Like we don't have a lot of that stuff. But the reality is that we do have a little bit of it. And those islands are so fucking tiny. They're so small. The populations are so small that we would be doing such a detriment to continue, especially with prices, because that's the thing. The second the borders open, the second that they open that shit up, man, do you understand how many breeders are going to be out there trying to contact somebody that's like, hey, can you go to fucking Karampa Island and scour this football field sized island
and give me everything?
Bring me every fucking retic that you can find.
See, I
will pay you $100,000 to scour the whole fucking island and rip them all out of their homes and bring them here so that I can make a fucking buck. Fuck every bit of that.
No,
I agree. I love this industry. I love this hobby.
I agree with that.
But I think that we can all agree. I hope that we can. If people don't agree with me, fuck you. 100%. Talk to me face to face.
I agree with that.
I will absolutely get into a heated argument with you about it. The reality is, we have absolutely set ourselves up in a very fucking bad light by doing a lot of really dumb shit for years and years and years. We have decimated some populations.
Oh my God, okay? Yeah. Earless monitors? Fudge.
We have decimated some populations. Yeah. We have decimated some populations by us just being fucking greedy. Okay.
So
there's a right and a wrong way to do everything.
Yes.
And we have often done things right. More often than not, as an industry, as a hobby, we have done things the right way. But God, if you look at the history, because a lot of people are not familiar with the history of this industry, that's where a lot of this stuff comes from in terms of the legislation, the bad connotations that we have from a legality standpoint. There's a lot of dumb shit that many people did before us that was not good, that we are now paying the price for. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it okay. But yeah, I that's the stuff that makes me say, I hope that we can't ever bring retics back into this country. And again, people want to shit on me for that. That's fine. I'm good with it.
So let me play flip side to that. Let me play flip side to that, because I agree that like the Karampas, the Matawatis, I do believe that population would be pretty jacked after, because you are right. Like I would pay stupid money for it. But I think that if you did like, okay, so Pennsylvania, I'm gonna use that for an example.
Mm-hmm.
Gardener snakes in Pennsylvania are huge. Corn snakes are big out there.
Did you say
the only way you're allowed to own them, is it Gardner?
It's Garter, but that's fine.
Garter.
Miri's gonna hate you for it, but it's fine.
I know, whatever.
It triggered me for a second, but I was gonna let you roll with it. But you know,
look, I'm a lot deep right now. We gotta just hang with it, okay? So if you said similar to what they do, where if it's an albino genetic or if it's a morph,
sure.
Like the Aztec, it is in the country. I know people that are working with it currently.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but you take the Aztec, say it's not in the country. It's an obvious genetic deformity or more. If I brought that in, I wouldn't get flack. I wouldn't get the heat that you would by decimating a population. If we took that, like a genetic, you call it defect in the wild, like an animal that won't live in the wild correctly, like an albino,
necessarily,
like a caramel, or like a tiger. Like a tiger would probably do well. If I took those and got like a permit to bring in, let's say 20 a year, not 20,000, that is what I'm fighting for. I agree with you 100%.
No,
leave the population alone. Leave the population of these small islands the hell alone. If you can get 2 a year, cool, get 2 a year. But I don't want 20,000. And you get 2 a year, and they go to people like Garrett Hartle that are going to do amazing things with them. I would openly say, don't give them to me, because I'm going to be one of those guys that's like, wow, this is really amazing. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
You know, I'm very educated with my retics and stuff like that, but I agree with you. You shouldn't opening the borders completely and flooding it is wrong. Opening the border and saying, okay, but opening the border and say, okay, we can import, let's say 100 a year. To these very specific people that are not in the zoo industry, because the zoos can get them, and it's not like an educational thing. It's for the private breeding. I do believe that would be a great thing, and I believe like your Garrett Hartles, your Aubrey Pruitts, Izzy Exotics. I believe those guys would do really good things with them, and I think that they would keep it really pure, and I don't think they would take advantage of the situation. And
I know that for sure. It goes back to the argument that guys like Tom Crutchfield and a lot of people, and I agree. I agree with this argument, by the way. The whole conservation
right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're definitely stirring the pot. Conservation through commercialization.
Yes.
It is a very fine line, and there do have to be processes involved, and that's what it comes down to. And I just. Again, with at least, and maybe it's just because my brain goes to the dwarf and super dwarf stuff, because honestly, that's where the market's headed. Mainlands are not where the market is headed, period, in a story. It's not. Conservation, commercialization. So there need to be processes involved. The money needs to make sense for the people, boots on the ground, that are there, while at the same time making sure that nothing is being taken advantage of, that they're not being given free reign to just do whatever the fuck they want and strip the earth. Yeah. Of these amazing populations of these animals. But I think but that's everything.
We could agree with that across, like even the birds and like wild cats and stuff like that. I mean, there's more tigers in Texas than there are in the world. Like that to me, that statistic is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I also like as a fan, as somebody that if I could own one snake in the world, it would be a retic. I would love for them to open it up within limited quantities to private people like your Garrett Hartles, like your Aubrey Pruitts, that are, they don't need it. They're not making $1 billion off this industry. They're not. They're making a living, and they make it, their education through conservation is what I love about those two individuals. Like we'll use Garrett, for example. Garrett is one of the most approachable men in the world. Like,
oh, for sure.
Like, this man is, and I don't know if he's going to watch this, and I don't really care, but Garrett is just a good freaking dude, and I want to see him be successful, but I also know that he puts the animals above everything. It goes his family, and then it goes animals, and he don't give a crap. Like, he doesn't care about your feelings, and that's what I really love about him. Like, he'll tell you exactly how it is. He's like, this is the project to do.
That's why he's a good friend of mine, man. He has never held back. He has told me terrible things. He has told me wonderful things. He has given me shit about stuff. Like, he does not give a fuck, and he
doesn't. And we're talking very highly about a lot of retic people, but let's talk about like other industries. Like Australia cut off bans to everything in the country, but there's people still acquiring some animals now. So I think smuggling's a bad idea. Yeah. I mean, ask a lot of people in the industry what happens when you smuggle animals. And I don't encourage it.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
Where are you going? We're going to miss you. Oh, well, whatever. Bye. Now
we're going to literally lose all of our viewers right now.
Right. We went from like, I can't see the viewer count, which sucks.
We got 12 right now is what StreamYard showed me, but that's not guaranteed.
Really? I don't know how it works on this site.
Well, I just mean when I say it's not guaranteed, I just mean it's not necessarily always 100% current. But yeah, we got 12 at least. No, we're doing
that
good.
works. That works. I mean, it's been a long rant about a lot of like touchy subjects. Like as far as retics go,
We didn't lose anybody.
Okay.
For the record. Yeah, we're good.
That's
we
all.
Can keep going.
But like anacondas, like I would love to get some annery anacondas or some T negative anacondas, or I mean we have a T positive, but that's son of a gun. It's not breeding whatsoever. I hope it does, but they're just with the bigger animals, it's a very niche market. With ball pythons, you can sell to anybody. That could be your first pet as a reptile enthusiast. That could be your 500th pet or your animal. We missed you. We lost 37 viewers.
Yeah, okay, everybody fill me in the comments how much shit you guys talk.
No, literally nothing. But Chris Eaton did say that he was leaving. He's like, I'm done.
I wish I could see the comments. I could feed off of it. No, but like I would love to. I always come back to the earless monitor because it's one of my favorite animals in the world.
Yep.
Their habitat is completely jacked, and what is it? 3 or 4 breedings have been done in the last like 11 years in the country. Like, that's not good odds. That's horrible for the species. And you look at the what is that? It's a giant salamander. It's like a North Carolina or something like that.
You talking about the hellbenders?
Yeah. Dude,
I don't think they're in North Carolina, but they're like I know they're in like Ohio and I think
there you go, Ohio. And again, sorry, my bad.
I could be wrong. Please don't anybody fucking comment down below that I'm an idiot.
Sure,
because I will be the first one to tell you I'm an idiot and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I know that hellbenders are under a lot of pressure in terms of salamanders.
Yeah,
my sister actually does conservation work in Georgia with salamanders specifically. So
shut up. That's
she works for like the Department of Natural Resources or Department of Wildlife or whatever the fuck it is in Georgia.
He's pitching his application for a brother-in-law. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, anyway. you can clearly tell that I keep up very closely with what my sisters have going on. Where I'm like, I don't know, she works for some like department in Georgia with like salamanders.
But no, I think conservation through education is 100% what we should be doing and what we should be pushing for. I think the importation of thousands of animals is ridiculous. Now. Small species, morphs, that's a difference. That's a different different thing.
But that's it. You said it earlier. Yeah. It's all about just regulating things and being done properly. Yeah. Which does come from education.
Yeah.
And us working with government officials, unfortunately.
That's what I love about like at least what I do. So I do a rescue here in Washington. I just had a turtle. I was asking, I think it was Miri or you, if you wanted a ornate box turtle, was dropped off at my front door. I don't put my address out. I don't put anything. It's literally a box turtle that's so dehydrated it can't even open size.
Yeah, so, that's sad.
He's got his eyes open now. He's doing good. He's currently eating right in front of me, so that makes me really happy. It's the first time he's eaten in like 6 days. But I do, and then I do all the education for the local schools, like whether it's middle school, high school, elementary. And I bring in animals that they're never going to see in the wild. Like I bring in the lace monitor. I bring in anacondas. I bring in ring pythons. Like if we're not doing that as a community with our respective areas, if we have a collection that's diverse, man, we need to do better. And I really truly believe that there's enough people out there that want to see these animals. And people are like, oh well, I charge. I was like, I don't charge a dime. You asked me to come to a birthday with a 12, 16-foot retic, I'm coming to that birthday. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a great time. And then I'm going to go borrow somebody's alligator that has a permit in Washington for it. And I'm going to bring an alligator.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I think education through conservation is just it should be the wave. And I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be amazing. I know that I'm going to be doing that in Texas. I'm going to steal probably Miri's animals. If you come, I'm going to steal some of your animals.
Oh, I'm there.
Yeah, facts. And that's the great thing about the reptile community as a whole is we are all about that next generation, like the 15, 12-year-old kids that are coming up and asking questions that we think, okay, this has been asked 1,010,000 times, but I'm going to answer it one more time because this little kid, he's sitting there with a notepad. I mean, I had people asking me for pictures. I'm like, I've done nothing in 10 years, in 7 years. Like
welcome
nothing at all.
Welcome to my fucking world. I'm nobody. I've been doing this less than 3 years. I have people come up to me shows they're like, hey man, can we take pictures of you? I just want to shake your hand and like blah, blah. And I'm like, why? I've produced fucking 4 clutches of ball pythons.
Which is 4 more
I'm an
clutches than
idiot.
I've ever produced.
I understand, but I'm an idiot. Like, I'm no one. I am not important. I'm not even remotely important. But the social media side, that's why I love that part, is that I know that nobody, or maybe I hope nobody's out there like feeling that they're learning everything they need to know from me, because I only ever share the information that I know for a fact and the stuff that I've learned firsthand.
But what about those people that have no information? Right.
And that's it. I'm not right. And I appreciate that. The biggest compliment that I ever get is from people just telling me that they appreciate my positivity, my energy, my attitude, and Matt, you're the same way, man. That's what it comes down to, man. Like, that's the biggest contribution. I can't contribute a lot to this hobby in terms of animals. I can't contribute a lot to this hobby in terms of like, oh, Zach's going to produce a world's first. No, but you know what Zach and Matt can do, and Miri, you can do this too, is bring fucking positivity, because Miri does, by the way.
She crushed.
Everywhere.
Let's not really highly about you up in the corner real quick. This is your corner, by the way, for my video. This chick, I'm going to say it. I don't care what anybody says. Y'all can hate on me down the road. There are very few people in this world that ever command a room, an entire room. Mm-hmm. You take all the attention, and I'm an attention whore. I'm the wildest person you will ever meet, and I will stand on that hill till I die. I will try anything once with outside of drugs, and I will be down to mess with everything. There are very few people in this world that have ever cut through a room and me look at that person and be like, I need to be her friend. I need to be his friend. There's like maybe 5 people I've ever met. My best friend, Mike Austin, I think he might be in this room. The first time I met him, we're in psychology class. And this is the effect you had on me. So it was like, name something nobody knows about you. I had no idea who you were. I was like, oh, that's the hot ginger chick, whatever. That was my response when I talked about you. I was like, she's a hot ginger chick. I don't know shit. My best friend, Mike, he goes, first time we met, we're doing this thing. And it's like, name something we don't know about each other. He goes, I'm an awesome dude. And that's all he said to this day, yeah. Best friend. I was the best man in his way. That's the energy she puts off. But I also see like little girls being like, hey, I'll use Schaumburg. That's MSB Reptile. That's Sydney. Mm-hmm. Da, 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 da. And they don't say anything. They just keep walking. I'm like, go talk to her. She's cool. But like, the power you have in the industry you're in for young women is so beautiful. Like, it's so epic. It's so powerful. And Zach, I'll say the same thing about you. With people that are just coming into the industry, you produce 4 clutches. People know who you are. Like, people put your name with like Bob Clark, Aubrey Pruitt, Bob Vu. Like, these are people that are being put in. You might not have the products behind you, but what knowledge you put out, and when you're doing your videos and you bring people into the conversation and bring them into places that they're probably not going to get invited to. Be realistic. To be invited to somebody's facility is an honor. I don't care who you are. Like, being invited to Shane Costello's facility, which is his house. First of all, wow. Shane, if you're watching this, wow. Everything is crispy. And he's got 18, 20-foot snakes. Same thing with Jake Klotz. Like, you guys saw a little piece, like what we're seeing with Miri. To be invited to these facilities that you're being invited to. 15 years, I've never been invited to facilities like you have. Like, my top 4 favorite facilities, Gavin Bowe, Shane Costello, Jake Klotz, and Ben Rennick. That's it. Those are my favorite facilities I've been to. I've been to a couple others, but you're in places that nobody goes. You're getting information to spread to the public in a positive light that nobody's touching right now. And that's what makes your contribution, your value, and whatever you put out that much better. And that's why I mess with you. Like, I love positive people. We might fight over stuff down the road, and I know we will, because we will, 100%, 1,000% going to fight over stuff. But if we weren't friends, I wouldn't feel comfortable with saying that. Like, friends fight. Real friends will tell you when you're messing up. Real friends will be like, hey, I disagree with you. You're an idiot. And it'll be just that conversation, and vice versa. Like, I'll never get over what Jake said, like breeding in mass quantities. Miri's got 300 plus animals. That's fair to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many clutches you put out this year? That
Right
weren't
now,
sold
I have
prior?
9.
Okay.
Oh, what do
How
you
many of
mean
those are
weren't
spoken
sold
for?
prior?
How many of those, if you posted them today, would be gone in a week?
All of them.
Yeah.
If they
Exactly.
weren't hold back.
She's gonna hold back every single female. It
Oh,
sucks
yeah.
so much.
It's absurd. It's
But
absurd. It's a problem.
when you look at, it's not a problem if you got
No,
the space.
it's a problem for everyone else, is what I mean. All of our customers like,
Yeah.
God damn it, I want to buy that het female or that such and such female. I am not, by the way, as close of friends as she and I are. I am not even remotely privy to any of the shit that she works on. She's like, maybe eventually I'll trust you with some of my breeding plans, which I love, by the way.
So how am I getting
She's
5
working on
ahead of
such
you?
big things. Hey, man. Mostly because I don't want them. I'm working with Ultramel. They're useless to me. So.
I just thought it was a funny comment. Anyway, it's a joke, not a dick. Don't take it so hard.
It's not goddamn funny, okay? It's not funny, Matt.
Jesus! You and your Ultramel. Jesus Christ.
Well, now you sound like her. She's like, you and your fucking Ultramel is a bunch of bullshit. Anyways,
I'm not gonna lie. I think Ultramel with oh my god, what did I see it with last night?
You said black pastel, but yeah, blackhead's where I'm trying to go. Blackhead, Ultramel, yeah, they're great.
Bro, that leopard gene.
Yeah, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
I love leopard. I love leopard.
Yeah, so do I. I have one. I have one in the rack right now. I hatched.
You have an Ultramel leopard?
You only have one?
Yep. Just one. Fuck off.
She's like, I have 37.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the cool thing. Is like,
I'm just kidding.
No, she's got 22. We've already talked about it. But I love the fact that you are bringing people in that are not into ball pythons into this thing. Like, I would love to say I'm strictly retics, but we all know that's a lie. Like, I love my lubrids. I love my anacondas. I love anacondas. Like monitor lizards, if I had more space, I would have 40, but I have one because don't have the space. Like, I think they're called King Gamoras, the little ones. They're like that big. I might be saying that wrong. I would love to have those, but I'm moving to Texas. And once I move to Texas and I have the space, oh, honey, we're building a facility. And that's a great thing about, like, having people in Texas. Like, if you guys don't know, Miri's moving to Texas. Zach's going to eventually, probably within the next year or two.
Yep. Oh, no, that's happening for sure.
The community to have that. And we've also got James Mitchell down there. We've got Jason Reed down there, which isn't doing a lot for retics. But, like, the community in Texas with reptiles is probably one of the best in the country right now. Just due to the fact of lack of restrictions. You get a permit. As long as you're out of city limits, you're good to go. And the people down there aren't shady. They're chill. They're cool. And I'm really happy Miri's going there because now I have a rat breeder on top of my normal rat breeder, which Glacier Rodents. Anyway, and if you're looking for pigs, Jeff Kelly. But I'm not going to shameless plugs here. Shameless plugs. But rat facility right there, boom, at my fingertips. So those guys in Texas that are looking for top quality rodents, they're coming, baby. They're coming, and they're coming like thousands of them. Or maybe not thousands, probably a couple hundred. But they'll be there to order whenever you guys are ready.
Close.
So I've only seen the one that was really cute, and I really wanted that rat, but I would do nothing with it besides keep it as a pet. Not gonna lie, she had this really cute rat that was sleeping on its back like an old man, and she was like rubbing its belly, and it woke up. I thought that was the coolest rat in the world. I was like, I want that, but I don't want rats in my house because then everything will be on edge. So I'm not willing to play that game. But that's a really cool thing. Like she's bringing another distributor to Texas just for rodents, and right now you have 3 rodent suppliers, and one of them's really, 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 really good at discounted price, and the rest of them are kind of iffy. They're not very consistent. Now we're gonna have a really consistent one in Texas, and that's really dope, especially because she's only an hour from me. That makes me happy, so I don't have to worry about anything because I have ball pythons. And why do ball pythons only want to eat live food? This is crap. Y'all need to get these sons of guns on pre-thawed, so I don't have to deal with this. I saw the squishy face. I don't care. That stuff bugs. Like I have a
the squishy face.
The squishy. I don't know what to call it. So you squish your face. Anyway.
No, I
what-
have a story about somebody who just like demanded my snakes be on a certain feeder. So just
That's
not
too much
yeah.
work. As long as they're not on soft furs, I'm happy.
Oh yeah.
Like I can work with everything besides soft furs, but that's just because I
If
like
you're
when I lived
if
in
you're
Florida.
paying this much for a snake, like just get it on their own shit.
Yeah, I mean, even if you can't get live food, you screwing up anyway. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well, if you can't, you
Yeah,
need to
no,
just
I
switch
get
gears and
mousers,
your
but
own.
Jesus, yeah.
Oh, mousers kill me. I have that.
Just
But
oh yeah.
I have a retic that will only eat. I have a retic that's only eating mice.
Really?
Won't touch rats. Yeah.
A fucking retic that only mice?
What?
That's gonna, yeah, you better get that taken care of. That's gonna be a problem.
I don't think I've ever heard of
I'm
that.
like 7 months in, and I've tried rat pups. I've tried rabbits. I've tried chicks. I've tried quail. I've tried live quail. Won't touch it. Live rat pups. Won't touch it. I throw a full-grown mouse in there. Done. And I'll feed it like 5, 6, 7.
Have you done any scenting with mice in terms of like even like a scented a mouse scented quail, a mouse scented anything?
I've wrapped them. I've literally put them in the cage at the same time and wrapped them with that dissolving whatever it's called, what you're supposed to do, and nothing. I've even stuffed. This is going to sound really gross, and this is something that most people don't see.
If anybody's made 2 hours into this, they'll be fine.
Have we really? Holy crap!
Oh yeah, 2 hours, 5 minutes,
longest podcast, baby. Let's go. But sometimes when you're trying to get things off food, you have to do some gross stuff. I've cut a rat open and put a rat pup in there and wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't even touch it. And it sucks because it was a really expensive snake. And right now it should be like 6, 7 feet, and it's like 3.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to be about a year and a half behind on that breeding project. But it's worth, in my opinion, it's worth the wait on that. I've got some other stuff that'll go with that. Like I've got a Motley Tiger double het OGS purple. So that'll be a pretty solid thing. I'm just going to miss the Sunfire for a little bit, but that's okay. I think OGS purple Sunfires are arguably the prettiest snake in the world, but we'll argue about that a different day. But yeah, no, as far as retics goes, if I had 100 retics and I could afford to feed them all, I would have 100 retics. But that's a lot of snakes. I've seen 2 facilities with that, and that's just a lot. I'm going to stick it to under 35 on 35 to 40 is the goal. I know that's still a lot for a lot of people, but
well, yeah, because you have one clutch and all of a sudden 35 just doubled overnight and then some.
Yeah, but out of 35, I might kick 2 back, and then obviously.
Yeah, but you're stuck with them for a little while. You got to feed them for a minute. So I'd say, yeah.
And
again, I'm not telling you.
For people with normals or that are breeding low end clutches, you should find a friend that has a king cobra and have that conversation. And I feel that way about ball pythons. I feel that way about king snakes. I feel that way about everything. You should help out your king snake, your king cobra friends,
or king snakes, whatever you got.
Yeah. Well, I don't know any. Well, maybe a really big king snake.
Maybe some indigo breeders.
Bro, I want an indigo so bad. Can we talk about this for real quick? I want an Eastern indigo, or I think it's Eastern indigo, the one with a red belly on it. Oh my god, those things get me like.
The red throat.
Yeah, I'd much rather have that than go to any strip club ever in my life.
1,200 as babies, females.
Yeah, they're not cheap. And the thing is I just want it. I'm never.
Well, you gotta have permits and the whole.
Yeah,
thing,
there's so much red tape to go.
But once you get to Texas, though, it'll be no problem. There's some people in Texas that work with them. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're gonna have this conversation. But no, there's a couple of things that I'm gladly going to add to my collection, whether it be alligators, whether it be dwarf caiman. I'm definitely going to get into some venomous. I've talked with somebody about that recently because I just think venomous is really underplayed. But the responsibility has to be there for it. And if you're going to do venomous, you better do it right and don't play games. And make sure you get your hours in. And don't feel bad about like asking dumb questions. Like dumb questions are not dumb in the reptile industry. Like that's the difference between a lot.
I was going to say, especially not with venomous, you need to know everything. You need to know
front to back. You need to
animal. Yeah.
And a lot of people like I see a lot of younger cats. I got a friend of mine. He's 21. He's very, very, very responsible with his venomous stuff. I know more about venomous through him than I have ever, and I've probably have logged. I mean, I had rattlesnakes, I've had cobras and stuff like that when I lived in Texas and then I lived in Florida. But living in Washington, obviously no venomous. And it's been 6 years since I've had venomous. I'm going to act like I don't know anything because I feel like that's the way you should be when you're getting into something new. You should get the hours, you should get the time in. And it's not reading a book. And a lot of people think that reading is going to be the cover to cover reading is great. Yeah, you might know what to do. But when you're in there, let's say you're using, I don't know, a beautiful monopole cobra that somebody has, and you think you know what you're doing, and then you try to hook the tail, and then you hook the body incorrectly, and then the animal comes back on you, there's not a lot you can do about it at that point if it tags you. And so I always say be responsible for that kind of stuff. But I treat my retics like I treat venomous. Obviously, there's a lot more respect there, and there's a lot more like knowing your animal and stuff.
But it is still the same.
Yeah, like there's been people in the past 5 years that have passed away, and we don't want that. We don't want that in the community. We want that positive vibe, and we want that education, and we want that we talked about shows. I mean, I can't tell you how amazing it is to meet people like you guys at shows, and we do completely different things. But we can still vibe and we can still conversate about it. And we're both really interested about it. And we both we go over the top. And I'm gonna touch on something, but it has nothing to do with the other thing. Okay. So if you ever get to a reptile show, shut up. Anyway, I love you. But if you ever get to a reptile show, try to get into the auctions because you're gonna see some animals and you're gonna see some equipment that you might not be able to afford prior. Like I'm talking about equipment like you go through ZooMed or maybe Zilla. Or Ryan McVeigh's new company that does the best UVB UVA rays. Yes, shameless plugs. You're not going to see that. You're going to pass over that booth because you're not very interested in it. But going to those auctions, you're going to meet and see people and have the opportunity to put hands on products that you normally wouldn't be able to. And I think that the auctions actually give a lot of education and a lot of opportunity to the newcomer. Yeah, it might cost you $15 to walk in after you pay $25 to get in, but that 3-hour auction, you're going to meet, you're going to learn, and you're going to have the time of your freaking life. Keep your kids at home. So there's a lot of vulgarity and whatever, but you're going to have the opportunity to see products you normally wouldn't. And I think we pass over in the reptile community a lot over the care of these animals. Like, when you're doing monitors, you're doing like crocodilian or you're doing lizards, lighting is super important. Like, yeah, that light might be $80, but how much are you invested into this animal? What is this animal worth to you? You know what I mean? Like Ryan McVeigh just put out these bulbs.
Yeah, can we talk about VivTech for a second? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you for dropping the name. I couldn't. I want to say Bavarian Electronics, but I could not get the name out right. Thank you. But Ryan McVeigh just put out.
Ryan. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
And by the way, in their county, they started up the
badass.
best.
Yes.
Oh my God, they are the epitome of the king and queen of the reptile industry as far as a couple goes. That I would love to get a chick like that one day and be like, that's fine. Jesus Christ, no, we're not doing that. Sorry. Hang on. I'm back.
Yeah, we got you.
God, no. Are you fucking kidding? You hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Is your Bluetooth dying?
Jesus Christ, hang on. Stop calling me. I don't even know who you are. Stop it. So, for those of you who don't know, can you guys hear me pretty good?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh my God. Ugh. Audio. Okay. Well, this is interesting.
Oh, we lost him.
I'm gonna have to cut it soon anyways. Okay, I still gotta pack.
Yeah, we're gonna give Matt about 2 minutes, not even, to jump back in here because in all seriousness, we were doing our damnedest to try to keep this to an hour, not because of any reason with Matt or whatever, but Miri has a ton going on. She's literally in the middle of a move. Yeah. All right, Matt is back in here, so we're gonna close this out right now. Matt doesn't know, but we're gonna close this out right now.
Oh, I'm back.
He's back. Matt, so we were literally just telling the people we have to cut it out, man. We got a jet. We got to close. We got to close now.
Is this the longest podcast you've ever had?
Yes, it is, and it's
That's all I cared about.
been
All I
phenomenal.
cared about the whole time.
So far, this is the longest one that we've done here. Go ahead, Miri. What are you gonna say?
That's fair. But
So
if you guys
Miri
don't know
has a
Vivek,
lot
go
to
check
do.
it out.
Yeah, Miri has a
You know
lot to do.
Miri-
She's literally in the middle of moving. She was literally prior to the stream starting cleaning snakes. Like, fuck, I got so much shit I got to do. I got to get all these snakes clean because this is the last day that I'm gonna get to clean, and I got to move, and I got to do all these things. So, in
my
all
question
seriousness,
to Miri is you're moving, you're cleaning at the same time. Welcome to my world, but I'm doing it halfway across the country. You're going 6 hours. I win.
Yeah,
yeah,
I got a lot
but
more
she also
animals
has
than you do, honey.
300 animals.
Yeah, I only have like 48, but whatever.
Plus
Yeah, it's
the
a lot to deal
rats,
with.
plus the dogs, plus the birds.
Are you bringing all the rats?
Well,
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, you need a big freezer, and that's it. But yeah, no, I really
yeah, I
appreciate
have
you guys
a
asking
week and
me.
a half. Yeah.
Do you want my guy to come help you move or no?
We'll
Or
talk.
meet you at your house? Okay, we'll talk offline because that's kind of personal. But yeah, no, Viv Tech, amazing. Jeff Kelly, go buy from him for his pigs. What did I say for rodents? Oh my god. It was Forest Old Company. Or
Cold
Forest
Blood Cafe.
Cold Blooded Cafe. Thank you. Jesus Christ. I'm literally looking
Yeah,
at the box
Cold
right
Blooded
now. I couldn't remember. Cold Blooded Cafe. Second best rodents you can get in Texas because obviously Miri's moving to Texas, so go buy from her. And if you want retics, call me. I can get you anything because I play middleman for everything.
You'd
So.
think this was Matt's show for a second.
I know, right? He was interviewing us at one point.
Oh, I know.
In all seriousness.
No, I've
No.
watched.
You're
I'm
done.
just
You're done. You're cut
kidding.
off. You're the guest. Get the fuck out of
Love
here.
you so
You're
much,
done.
Wait a minute,
We absolutely adore you. No. There's no way minute. No way minute.
Asking questions. I have questions that I wrote down. There's a lot of things that don't get asked. You don't get asked how the hell you became so cloutful within a year and a half to 2 years. Mary doesn't ever get asked about what impact does she have on the women aspect of reptiles.
And I love you for asking that. And I love that we covered it. You've been an amazing guest. For the record, anybody that's watching this that does anything in terms of social media, if you do lives, if you do Instagram lives, if you don't do Instagram lives, if you don't do lives, please do them. Right. It will benefit you and especially bring Matt on as a guest because obviously he's a phenomenal guest. I love guests. I said this earlier today. I love guests that promote their own stream for us. I love guests that come on and bring their own questions for us. It's amazing. It puts us in a really great position in terms of just the exchange of information. Because at the end of the day, everybody loves what we have going on, loves what you have going on now, I hope. And we are super thankful for it. And Miri, do you have anything before we close out for Matt?
Every time you got it. Just thank you guys for watching. And thanks for letting me not talk during the beginning while Zach does. And not saying anything this time except for Chris. It's okay. Chris was late, so it didn't happen.
Zach's really, really, really good at intros. And honestly, Miri, your education as far as animals goes, I would argue to say if anybody has questions, you come to you about ball pythons or anything with colubrids and things like that. Zach is really just a really dope hype man. He might not have all the answers, but I bet between the three of us, we have – I bet between the three of us, if you have a question about basically any animals, we have the answer or we know somebody who does and we'll get the information for you. And that's why you guys work really well together, in my opinion, is because, yes, you have the crazy over-the-top collection, but Zach, like, he doesn't care who's watching. He doesn't care what's going on. He's going to be that extra boost of motivation and push the conversation. And if he had questions set up for any of it, because you guys never stop the conversation. He never says, and anybody who says it doesn't say, I just feel as a genius because that's my thought on life. As I say, but you have to look at both sides of the conversation. And that's why I went in here asking you guys questions. It's because there's questions I never heard you guys be asked. And yeah, you guys put on a great podcast. Yes, I've watched every single episode over the last week and a half because I wanted to be on this thing. By the way, they asked me to be on. I didn't ask them. I was really excited about it, but I did ask Zach a week ago. It's like, why haven't I been asked? I was really upset about it, honestly, that Jake got on here before I did with retakes. But that's a whole different story, but a different level. But Jake's got some really cool animals, and I don't. But you guys have the opportunity to put out some crazy content and work with some amazing people. And I think that, Miri, if you did it by yourself or Zach did it by themselves, nobody would watch. And I think the combination of you two is like the dynamic duo of like two Batmen, not no shitty Robin. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
Like you have the No, it's dope. It's dope because everybody loves Batman. Nobody likes Robin. Right? Like there's been like 11 Robins and there's been like one Batman. Okay, Robin's died
So
like
wait,
11 times.
who's Batman and who's Robin? Hold on.
We're both Batman. He just said.
Both Batman. I just say you're both
Okay.
Batman. I'm not getting in that conversation. I'm not talking about it. But I will say this.
Chris is chiming in saying it's not true. I don't need to know who Chris is going to say who's Batman. I already know it's not important.
Chris, go ahead, drop who you think is
I
Batman.
think it's
we
very
already know.
important.
We already know.
I think it's very important.
It's not very important. Miri,
I'm just going to leave the room and go get more beer because I drink it all.
Go get beer. We'll talk for a second.
It's fine.
But Miri, yeah, you are pretty. Yes, people are going to tune in for that. Yes, you have great quality animals, and you literally have both of our collections combined times like 4 or like 3. Like that's arguable. You have more knowledge about individual species that we don't work with. So putting that out there and having those questions and having because you guys have been talking for like 2 hours before we got on here, by the way. You guys had this all planned out on what you're going to ask Matt because you guys know I'm an open book. You know that I'm willing to talk about anything and have those conversations that are a little bit harder, like the exportation of the animals and stuff like that. I'm willing to have those conversations. And I'll play devil's advocate. Yeah, I agree. No, we should not import thousands of animals a year. Yes, I do agree. We should import like 200. Yeah. Just to keep bloodlines fresh. Because in 20 years, 30 years, if we stopped importation of all exotic animals, what are my grandkids going to see? And that's my mentality on that. And
we're
I think that, yeah. And honestly, Zach, I love your content. It's funny, it's outgoing, and you hit people that normally nobody would. And Miri, you're here because you're pretty and you have awesome shit.
No, she's here for more than that, man. I hit her up all the time with questions that people hit me up with. I'm like, I don't have the fucking answers to this shit. She's a badass.
We became friends.
We're all fucking amazing, and in all seriousness, Matt, we really do. We appreciate all your kind words, brother. And the energy that you brought to this thing. There is absolutely a reason that she and I were both excited to have you on, and we thank you again for just everything you bring to the table. So, and even beyond that, the biggest thank you at the end of the day is always the people that tune in for these things. We thank all of you guys so very much, and I just can't wait for this to just continue to develop. The people that bring criticisms, I understand. Fuck you guys on some level, because a lot of times there's the same things that get repeated, and I do we both listen and read all that stuff, but just trust me that it continues to get better every week, and I think that this podcast, this stream, has been the best one we've done so far. So I love all of you guys, and we can't thank you guys enough for being here. Matt, we're getting the fuck out of here. We're closing the door. It's over. Miri, do you have anything to close us out?
Love you guys.
Maybe, yes, no, maybe. All right.
No,
we're getting the fuck out of here.
That's it.
We're done.
Yep.
We're done. Ending the broadcast. Clicking the button right now. Bye. Love you.
All right. And if you're a hater, come hate on me.